whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
I'm attorney Gavin Richard. I grew up here in New Orleans, so I know how important family, friends, and community are to us. And helping others has been a lifelong passion of mine. If you've been injured in an accident, you may be out of work and faced with large medical bills. You'll need someone to fight the insurance companies so that you can get on with your life. Give me a call at 504-799-2288, and I'll be with you all the way. The law offices of Gavin M. Richard, going the distance so that justice may be served.
Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. The place to be is right here with me. It is channel gboot2786. This is Gavin Richard Presents, ladies and gentlemen, and it is Random Topic Thursdays. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be joined by our special guest, Mr. Shawn James, author extraordinaire of books such as The Man Crisis, as well as the John Haynes series. Shawn, how are you this evening?
I'm good, Gavin. How are you?
I'm doing great. Tonight, we discussed the following. William Roddy Bryan's lawyer, Kevin Goff, says, no black pastors in the courtroom, please, Judge. Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Judge tears the DA a new one. Says a little prayer for Kyle. Also, is the media hyping up criminal charges against Travis Scott? We will also discuss this as well. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, where is it? I just saw it. I just had it up here. Oh, here we go. Kid Cudi is fully broken. All this and more, ladies and gentlemen, on channel gboot2786. Of course, we got to pay some dues now. If you have not hit that like, share, and subscribe button, hit that little notification bell when we go live. Paying some dues, ladies and gentlemen. As you saw, you can advertise with this channel. You can also join the Patreon. That's the link at the bottom. And advertising is our email right there. But if you like to, please contribute to the channel, especially if you like seeing the platform grow and just supporting a brother. You can give to the Cash App at the bottom, GavinRichardEsq, GavinRichardEsq. Hit the PayPal, hit the PayPal, Zelle as well. It's the same. The email is the same, gavin.grich1@gmail.com. Also, you can check out our seasoning company, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. You know, the holidays are coming up, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want some good old seasoning, especially to go, I don't know if my people in the South or my people from New Orleans that are in California, you miss that good old seasoning that you don't get up there in Cali, you all should check it out. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish. That's our website there. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we have some of our music. You guys know I'm a musician as well. Check out Video Soul, which is available on Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play our theme song as always. Before we get on down, we got to get on up. And the way you could support me is streaming it on Spotify, downloading it as well on iTunes and Apple. So without further ado, we're going to bring Shawn back in, and we got another special guest we'll be bringing in too also. So sit back, relax, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a great program. Get that like.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll meet.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up,
Baby, yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up. Baby.
feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor, gotta get on up. Ladies and gentlemen, what's up, family? What's up, everybody? First and foremost, let me get this out of the way. Happy Veterans Day to all of our men and women who have served in our armed forces, defending our nation and rights, especially our Black veterans who I know our Black veterans got it rough, especially early on, beginning of the United States. This country didn't care about our veterans and still don't to some degree, but we salute them no matter what. And speaking of which, I want to show you guys some special pictures because these are my veterans right here. These two individuals. This is Arthur Duplessis Jr., who received several awards, especially for World War II, American campaign, European campaign. These are all the medals that my grandfather got, but he got them later in life. We didn't know he had all of these medals awarded to him, and my father had to find them. This is my mom's father, who lived to be 96 years old. So happy heavenly Veterans Day to him. And the gentleman on the left, far left here, this is Anatole Francis Richard Jr. This is my paternal grandfather, my dad's dad. So it looked like all three of them got out to drink, didn't they? This one on the right, he looked like a Seven Wolf dude. All right. But happy Veterans Day to him. And I have uncles like Uncle Charles, Uncle Chabelle, some host of cousins and so forth. So it runs out to in our family. So thank you for your service. And hold on one second. And someone put this up, which I thought was interesting. Happy Veterans Day to the Black veterans who fought for a country that never fought for them. That was a powerful truth. Now, this looked like Civil War era. Now, I want to say something to most people don't know this, but the largest infantry of Black soldiers during World War II was in what state? Can you guess? Anybody can guess? Let's see. I'm trying to see in the chat. Nobody want to take a guess? All right. There you go, Cheryl. My home state, Louisiana. Yes, indeedy. The largest infantry of colored troops was here in Louisiana. And the 1st Louisiana National Guard was one of the first all-Black regiments in the Union. Based in New Orleans, Louisiana, it played a prominent role in the siege of Port Hudson. Now, we're going to get to the topics in a minute, but I want to point some history out because I like to go figure, Gavin. Okay, you smart ass. Cheryl. After New Orleans fell to Admiral David Farragut in April 1862, Union Major General Benjamin F. Butler headquartered at his 12,000-man Army of the Gulf in New Orleans. On September 27, 1862, Butler organized Union Army's 1st Louisiana Native Guard Regiment, some of whose members had served in the previous Confederate Native Guard regiment. Free men of color had served in the militia since the French colonial period, but the regiment's strength was 1,000 men, and it was composed mostly of African American former slaves who had escaped to freedom. The Corps d'Afrique. In June of 1863, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Louisiana Native Guard regiments were redesignated as the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Corps d'Afrique. Perhaps 200 to 300 of the original 1,000 members of the 1st Louisiana National Guard made this transition. Poor treatment by white soldiers and difficult field conditions resulted in many black officers resigning and enlisted soldiers deserting the Corps. The Corps d'Afrique was dissolved, and its members joined the newly organized 73rd and 74th Regiments of the United States Colored Troops of the Union Army. By the end of the war, about 175,000 African Americans had served in the 170 regiments of the United States Colored Troops. In contrast to the 1st Louisiana Native Guards organization, all field and line officers of the United States Colored Troops were white. At the war's end, approximately 100 of the original 1,000 members of the 1st Louisiana Native Guard still remain in uniform in either the 73rd or 74th regiments. Legacy. PBS Pinchback, who came from the North to serve the Union, and others like him, were free men of color who joined the Union militia for the time and distinctly for that cause. Most of the Guard's soldiers were African Americans who had escaped from slavery and joined the Union effort. Some historians think the legend of continuity of the regiments was a propaganda ploy by Union General Benjamin F. Butler. Now, I want to say something about PBS Pinchback. For those that should know or do know, is that he was the first black governor of any state. He's the governor of Louisiana during Reconstruction. Though it was acting, he was still governor. And Pinchback, of course, I don't believe he moved away shortly after his term was up, because he got tired of the bullshit he was dealing with in the South. Now, he was a captain. So after increasing racial oppression, he moved with his family to Washington, D.C., and his man served in the Army as a captain. So I know you're just joking. So this is a long history, but I'm not going to keep our guest waiting. We got brother Shawn James in. Shawn, how you doing, brother, again?
I'm good, Gavin. How are you? I'm glad to hear about the history of your family. It was a wonderful story.
Thank you. But we also have our own veteran here too, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all please give it up. I got a special guest for you. Our veteran, our very own Harvey Superboy from your world. Harvey, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. PBS Pinchback, you're right, Darius. He was born in Macon, Georgia. Yeah, first black governor of the state of Louisiana. But a lot of people didn't know this history, but yeah, we have a rich history in the military. African Americans from the beginning, especially the first person to die in the war for America was Crispus Attucks, a black man. So most people don't know that. So anybody that tells you that black people, I don't know what John Leguizamo was tripping on up there, Shawn, because I know he's from New York, about how he said Hispanics were the only group of people that fought in every major war. That was some bullshit. I don't know if you heard that.
I just heard it from you, and I have to say that's a bold-faced lie.
Well, yeah, he was saying it. If you listen to Tariq's broadcast a few weeks ago, he was talking about it. But yeah, Harvey might know about it too, huh?
Oh yeah, I saw it that morning on Tiffany Cross' show where they let him go on a rant about they fought in every conflict. They wasn't even here, a lot of them. So how can you fight in every? But you know what? I ain't gonna get into that.
That was some bullshit, bro. Because what he said, yeah, well, even she corrected him, at the end, if you caught it, when she said, we apologize. She said, thank you for your family and all the other families that were also here, the African Americans that were here that fought in every major war too. She corrected him a
You
little
know,
bit.
the thing is, there's a lot of misinformation about us in the military, and then unfortunately, we get attacked from within our own community because people say we're not black enough, or we too in the trench for white supremacy. And then when you talk about the things that we did as far as the civil rights movement, how we built our communities and our participation in these events, like I keep telling people, the Iwo Jima, that famous footage of the guys raising the flag up, it was actually black men that did it first. But what happened was when one of the officers said, I'm paraphrasing, get them niggas off there, and they restaged it. Because you in war, how can you do that during a time of war? I mean, nobody never asked that question. I mean, it took Spike Lee to call it out about what, 15
he called out
years ago?
Right. Well, what he did, he called out Clint Eastwood because Clint Eastwood had the movie, was it Letters to Our Fathers and
Flags of Our Fathers, something like that.
Flags of Our Fathers and Letters to Iwo Jima, which he complained that they didn't show the black Marine Corps officers that were there doing that as well. And they do miss that history that blacks were a part of that in World War II. But, don't let it, I know all of that, but, don't ignore them people, because those people who complain about those that serve in the military, they don't pay their rent. They don't pay veterans rent or their families. I mean, I'll be honest, I actually thought about doing it like the JAG Corps program before. I've told everybody about that. So that was something I thought of.
And I sit back and I tell people that a lot of us join the military because of financial issues and and some for family history. I'm not going to sit there and dismiss that, but some usually in our communities for financial considerations. Because if you're not able to go to a university and get that degree and get that nice paying job, you're as a black male especially is pretty limited what your options are if you don't have access to funds. So you go into the military, use the system to beat the system. That's what I did. When I lost my job, I didn't go in because I wanted to play G.I. Joe. I had to eat. And when I got in after so many months, you had veteran status. You're entitled to points. I mean, a lot of people don't realize you go into the military. You don't have to stay 20 years. You do a 3-year, 4-year contract. If you don't want to re-up, you can go back to being a civilian. Yeah, you might have to you're going to do National Guard. You have to fulfill an 8-year contract in total with the active duty service or reserve or National Guard. But you get a house. You can go get paid to go to school. You can get a business loan. There's a lot of things you can do. But we've been so misinformed about what's going on. We sort of poo-poo it away, and then we wait at the last minute to want to go do it. Then you're too old to do it. So I tell everybody, if it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. But we need to respect our history when it comes down to the military. That's just me.
Right. And, a lot of our civil rights leaders, famous ones, for instance, Medgar Evers and Medgar Evers, his brother Charles Evers, they served. I mean, the Tuskegee Airmen. I remember the movie that came out on HBO before the Red Tails movie, and I know it was exaggerated, but they said how they never lost a bomber, which wasn't true, but they had a limited amount. These men were not allowed to even eat with their white counterparts. It was segregated at that time. Jackie Robinson, who was a sergeant, he was actually in, a lot of people don't know this, but Patton had a black tank battalion called the Black Panthers in World War II. And Jackie Robinson was actually a member of that. But yeah, Harvey said he's going to be right back. But y'all see the numbers there, 24,502. That's how many members were in the Union Army. Kentucky had 23,703. Tennessee had 20,133. So yeah, we'll get started in a minute, but yeah, it has its benefits, and that's one of the main reasons why people, a large reason why people do it. And people got to remember too, some people who are in the military, there are some good things you can get out, like weapons training. We need more black men to teach us about firearms. The brother mentioned the Harlem Hellfighters. There was back in 1918, there was a riot that had taken place. That experience that they're talking about is this what you're talking about is the 369th Infantry that fought in World War I. They also fought in World War II. And in fact, Mel Brooks's son, Max Brooks, did a graphic novel. And I'm bringing this up to Shawn because I know you're into graphic novels and comics, Shawn. Had you ever heard of this one? Hold on, let me show everybody this right quick because we're going to get into our topic in a minute. But have you ever seen this?
I have not seen that at all. I mean, I'm surprised to actually see this comic for the first time.
Yeah, it's a graphic novel, actually. Max Brooks wrote it. And Max Brooks wrote this, and it's a fictionalized account of the experiences of the largely African-American 369th Infantry Regiment called the Harlem Hellfighters. And those guys actually, most of those veterans, a lot of people think that they were ones that tolerated racism and put up with it. They were not. Actually, some of them fought back against rioters. I know that there was a riot in later years. I believe there was a riot that had taken place out on the East Coast, and those soldiers manned up. I think it was out in, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been out in New York or D.C. where it happened. I know you had some people, you have them everywhere, but even when Black Wall Street was being burned down, when the African American and the young black man that was accused of touching that white woman was going to get lynched, they came to the courthouse prepared to protect that brother. So that's how you got to be. We need to weapons training. We need to learn more about the Second Amendment. The Red Summer of 1919. That's right, Red Summer. Thank you, Cheryl. But yeah, I wasn't going to even start talking about this, but I wanted to because I thought it was important that we bring up this stuff out in Philadelphia. Yeah. That was in Washington. It took place in Chicago and Washington, D.C. That's exactly what happened. These were some, and you had these. There needs to be, this is an idea, Shawn, while I got you here. This is what I'm talking about. Write a screenplay about this, like they did with the movie The 24th out in Houston about the riots there.
Might be an interesting idea for a script.
Yeah. Let's not also forget about men like the highest ranking military officer during the Civil War who was a person of color, was a guy named Martin Delaney. He was a doctor. No, he's not an actor. That's not Martin Delaney. I'm sorry. Oh, that's Martin Delaney. He was a physician, soldier, and writer and abolitionist. And he was the highest ranking Union officer at that time. He was a major. He was a field grade officer. And he worked on the Freedmen's Bureau. He worked in getting more blacks recruited. He actually worked with Frederick Douglass to publish the North Star. He was one of the first black men admitted to Harvard Medical School, although he got later dismissed. But he became a physician, and he was so smart and intelligent, he actually got a meeting with the president, Abraham Lincoln. And Abraham Lincoln was so impressed with him that he called him an extraordinary and intelligent man. And that helped get him commissioned, and he was able to get into obtain the rank as major. So this is history that a lot of people don't know. Yep. All right. So Let me show you something. Harvey had to step away, but we'll get started. But yeah, but this is the 761st Tank Battalion. These are the original Black Panthers. And Jackie Robinson was a member of this. In fact, Jackie Robinson was court-martialed back in during training when he refused to move to the back of the bus for a white officer. And they tried to put hands on him. And according to the transcripts, if you've heard Judge Robinson actually put his hand on his gun and said, "The first motherfucker that touches me is going to die." I'm paraphrasing. But there was that way. But he stepped up. So this, and they served under General Patton, the famed general of the Allied armies, United States Army. So yeah. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I know it's 31 minutes in, and I want to keep. Whoa.
Excuse me.
I'm just looking at this. It's kind of like Jim Crow Joe. He called Satchel Paige a great Negro. He said that. Darius, I don't know.
Well, it came up on Twitter that he had said something like that.
That wouldn't surprise me. He said stupid stuff before. He called black kids cockroaches. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna look at it a little bit later, but I want to get started with tonight's program now, guys. I was just giving him a little history, Harvey, on in the military till you came back. So we'll get started, ladies and gentlemen. So our first topic for tonight, I don't have a particular order. I was going to go with this. I was going to start whether we should go with something light first or heavy, but let's just get into it. Of course, we got two trials that are going on to at this time. We have the Kyle Rittenhouse case, which I'll talk about a little bit later. The defense and prosecution have rested, and the jury, there's closing arguments that are going to be coming on Monday. But earlier today, there was the Ahmad Arbery trial, and they were showing the deposition of the homeowner, Billy Ellis, if I'm not mistaken, who owned the home where Ahmad Arbery had entered that was under construction. Let's think, Harvey, you timed out. You got to come back in or get your device connected. And during what we call in camera, which is out of the jury's view, William Roddy Bryan's lawyer, that should be Roddy, excuse me, Kevin Goff, made these remarks in front of the court regarding Al Sharpton attending the court hearing, so the trial. So let's go ahead and play that. This is from First Coast News. Fair use under the Copyright Act of 1976. This is being shared for commentary and news and education.
Investigator Lowry yesterday is that the Right Reverend Al Sharpton managed to find his way into the back courtroom. I'm guessing he was somehow there at the invitation of the victim's family in this case. And I have nothing personally against Mr. Sharpton. My concern is that it's one thing for the family to be present. It's another thing to ask for the lawyers to be present. But if we're going to start a precedent starting yesterday, we're going to bring high-profile members of the African-American community into the courtroom to sit with the family during the trial in the presence of the jury. I believe that's intimidating, and it's an attempt to pressure, could be consciously or unconsciously, an attempt to pressure or influence the jury. To my knowledge, Reverend Al Sharpton has no church in Blaine County, never hasn't been here since Elaine Brown ran for mayor, to my knowledge. But we have all kinds of people. We have school board members. We have county commissioners. We have all kinds of pastors in this town, over 100. And the idea that we're going to be serially bringing these people in to sit with the victim's family one after another, obviously there's only so many pastors they can have. And if their pastor's Al Sharpton right now, that's fine. But then that's it. We don't want any more black pastors coming in here. Or other Jesse Jackson, whoever was in here earlier this week, sitting with the victim's family, trying to.
He thinks we all look alike.
And I'm not saying
Jesse
the
wasn't
state is
there.
even aware that Mr. Sharpton was in the courtroom. I certainly wasn't aware of it till last night. But I think the court can understand my concern about bringing people in who really don't have any ties to this case other than political interests. And we want to keep politics out of this case. So I'm asking the court to take appropriate steps to make sure that the gallery, which is already limited in this case, isn't being utilized for a purpose that could be viewed as improper. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other defendants?
We're doing that motion. I don't know if it's a motion. It's not really a motion. It's a reminder of the court's previous instructions to keep outside influences outside the courtroom.
From state?
It's a public courtroom, and I have no idea how the Reverend Al Sharpton appeared to be here. So the state had no part in that whatsoever. So the state is unaware of how that occurred or how he came to be seated with the family.
If a bunch of folks came in here dressed like Colonel Sanders with white masks sitting in the back, I mean, that would be
Okay,
correct.
I don't know. So let me tell you what I had heard at lunchtime today what I had heard yesterday before lunch is that there was going to be, that the Reverend Al Sharpton was going to be appearing on the courthouse and appearing with the family. I was asked at lunch whether the court had any objection to Reverend Al Sharpton coming into the courtroom. And I said, as a member of the public, there are certain limitations on what we can do here, what is going on. And what I was told was instead of having someone from the family sitting in the courtroom, that he was going to be sitting there instead of somebody else from the family. And my comment to that was simply, as long as things are not disruptive and it's not a distraction to the jury or anything else going on in the courtroom, so be it. But if it violates the court's rules with regard to the conduct of the trial or violates my orders with respect to how people are to conduct themselves in this courtroom, I will take it up with whomever I need to take it up with. Well, I will tell you that I noticed him once and that was it. And the fact that nobody else even noticed that he was in here means that everybody complied with this court's rulings on sitting in this courtroom and listening to the evidence. I don't hear a motion, and I will tell you this, I'm not going to blanketly exclude members of the public from this courtroom. If individuals, based on the limitations that we have in the courtroom, end up sitting in the courtroom and they can do so respectful of the court's process and in compliance with this court's orders with regard to the conduct of the trial, and they're not a distraction, then I'm not going to do anything about it. And I did not hear from anyone that there was any distraction whatsoever. In fact, what I just heard is nobody was even aware that he was in here, except Mr. Sheffield.
We were aware. It was not a distraction to us.
Maybe I understand that, but not a distraction. I'm not sure what the motion was. Well, and I will point out there's a large barrier that sits. You're sitting in the back corner of the courtroom. I'm not even sure the jury would have seen him sitting there. Nobody has brought it to my attention other than what was just presented as an observation by Mr. Goff. I am not making a blanket rule about attendance in this courtroom. And let's not overstate what's going on here, Mr. Goff, because this will become a distraction that we're going to waste a bunch of time on. If you weren't even aware of it until later, I'm not sure what we're doing.
Your Honor, what we're doing is, the question is not whether the lawyers are aware of it, the question is whether the jurors are aware of it. 10 of the 12 jurors are sitting in the box and see a good part of the gallery. And we do live in a small town, and that's where we're trying this case. And we have 12 jurors who are trying to maintain their anonymity here. Several have expressed concern about it. When we allow people in this courtroom who are not part of the case but have interest in it, and the jurors can eyeball them and recognize that it's people they know from TV, then that is intimidating. I'm not making a motion at this time, but if it becomes a problem, as it has been a problem for me in other cases in this courtroom, then we're going to bring it back up. And I just don't want anybody to say, we had no idea this was an issue. It's an issue for the Bryan defense.
No motion before the court then. All right.
I got one more video to share, but in fairness, I don't even know where Al Sharpton's church is either. So, or anybody else for that matter. I don't think he has one. I'm going to share one last video. I'm going to go ahead and play. Shout out to Black Mama. I haven't seen you in the longest, dear. But Al Sharpton responded to Ahmad Arbery's defense lawyer. We'll play those comments right now. Oh, brothers, mute yourselves too if you can. Mute me.
Well, I think that it is an arrogant display of insensitivity that you are going to be sitting there with 3 men that murdered the mother and father's child and their families of those 3 that have been convicted, have been indicted for murder. Yeah. And now tell them they can't have the ministers of their choice to sit there and console them while they're sitting there looking at who murdered their son and their families. So now you not only have taken their son, you want to take those of us that would come and console them. Now, clearly, as the judge responded, it was directed at me, because how do they know the difference between a black pastor or not? I think that clearly because I was in the courtroom yesterday in Brunswick, Georgia, and they think that because some of the jurors looked out and appeared to recognize me, that would influence or intimidate the jury. The parents said publicly they invited me to come. They came to church to hear me preach 3 weeks ago in Georgia. I've been with them from the beginning. They have the right to be consoled by anyone. We were not being disruptive, as the judge said. But the audacity, the arrogance to say that not only are you going to have to sit there and look at your son's killers every day and their families, we're going to choose who can come and console you in the courtroom. It's like pouring salt in the wound.
Will you continue?
I'll be back. The parents invited me, as they said yesterday, and they said yesterday they wanted me to come again, and I will make it my business to come again.
Absolutely. I can't believe things even like that even said in a courtroom.
I've been through a lot of trials over the decades. I've never had a lawyer ask that I not be able to come in the courtroom.
So now, that couple, the other lawyer, his name was Jason Sheffield. Now, Jason Sheffield got in trouble with the judge, Timothy Walmsley, earlier this past week when he disrespected and overtalked the judge, and the judge corrected him. I don't know if anybody saw that, but the judge even had to stop court during the middle of the objection that was made, I believe, by the ADA, Linda Dukowski is her name. So I'm just going to play this right quick, and then we're going to get comments. I know we've been waiting. We're going to get comments from Harvey and then Shawn.
So he was going in there repeatedly, and break-ins was used, burglaries was used for the neighborhood throughout.
It's sustained because that's Mr. McMichaels' statement. He's already testified that he did not follow up on that. So it's sustained.
Okay. You did not follow up to try to determine if a burglary had been committed at 220?
Objection. Once again, formal question, on what day?
He's already testified to what he did, and you've asked him, it was either you or
why I'm so confused.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm following. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please take a step outside.
Harvey, Shawn, watch this. Watch the judge snap.
Mr. Sheffield,
yes, sir.
You can agree or disagree with this court. That is your prerogative. But to act in the way that you just did in front of this panel, disrespect, I don't care whether you like my rulings or not, or you like me or not, but in this court, the Superior Court, it is axiomatic that counsel show at least respect for what the court is doing. And what you just did is a lack of respect for what the court is trying to do here, which is create an environment which is fair to all parties. I would suggest that you take a moment to think about that. I'm going to step off the bench because I found that, I'll just call it rude, right? I have tolerated a number of things in the courtroom, including, flip charts, writing in the middle of, you're getting distracted when you were doing the flip charts here, jumping up and moving the boards. I would suggest that you temper some of that very quickly because it will not be tolerated in this court. And I will leave it at that. I do not need an explanation. I do not need an apology, none of that. But I would suggest that we take a moment and think about the way that you're reacting to the court's instructions and rulings. We're in recess. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen. Harvey, you kick it off. Your thoughts on what we saw earlier today from that video?
Well, first off, you can tell the tone difference in the judge in the Arbery case and the Rittenhouse case.
Yeah,
he was more respectful, even though he was ticked. He did it with more class. He acted like a judge. But the thing is, what we saw earlier with the lawyer bringing up Sharpton, that was playing the big bad Al Sharpton is going to be in the courtroom. He's going to intimidate the white jurors. And he mentioned Reverend Jackson. Reverend Jackson is sick. He has Parkinson's disease. Reverend Jackson, if he do show up to pray with the family and he get out of Dodge. Same thing with Sharpton. What he should have been worried about is about the jury makeup. Now, he's playing to the jury. That's what he was doing. And he was playing to the media that if these guys if they are found guilty, it's because the black community intimidated them. I've never heard of a lawyer doing that in my life. And I've been following a lot of these trials for years. He was basically doing what white racists do.
Yeah. Shawn?
Yeah, I'd have to say that the judge here was very professional in the way he handled things. And what we're seeing here is an attempt by this attorney to try to polarize the case and trying to play games as related to Al Sharpton. Now, people are allowed to come and be guests in the gallery, and most times a jury isn't really focused on anybody in the gallery like that. And I doubt a black man would be intimidating to the jury, even if he was very popular like Al Sharpton, because the jury's focus is supposed to be primarily on the evidence as related to the case. Now, it looks like to me that this attorney is trying to play some games, and he's trying to make it where he can just try to find a way to either declare a mistrial, or he's trying to play some other aspect of things because he doesn't really want this trial to continue to go on, because he knows that based on the evidence, it's really clear that this case could possibly go where these three defendants are going to get a conviction.
Yeah. Well, what I will say is this. Yes, in certain circumstances, I know being a lawyer, and in certain circumstances, a judge's job is to basically referee the proceedings. He's to ensure that due process is administered properly, that the proceedings are fair, and so forth to the defendant. That does not mean he's the defendant's attorney. And I'll talk about that later with Rittenhouse, because that judge in that case, this is Judge Timothy Walmsley, who's handling the case with, it's not the Ahmad Arbery trial. This is the Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Rodney Bryan trial. But this is Bruce Schroeder is the judge in Kenosha County, the circuit court judge. And you can tell the difference between how these judges works and so forth. Now, notice what happened again with Bill Cosby, and I bring this in, and how William T. O'Neill acted in that case, where you had Gloria Allred present in court. You had all of these press reporters that were there. You had people protesting on the steps in lieu of the jury. Now, judges can restrict certain people from being in proceedings if they are disruptive, if they are going to cause a problem in court. There were outbursts in that case. Of course, we've talked about that happened in that trial that judge was allowing to happen. And that's the truth. So, yeah, I think that what this lawyer was doing basically was trying to throw up a bone and distract and say, raise a point for a mistrial if this leads to a conviction. But what's funny, though, Shawn, is that the jury makeup is 11 whites, 1 black. They actually, and the judge even admitted this, they purposefully eliminated blacks from the jury pool, but he couldn't do anything about it. He said, because the state of Georgia won't let me. And they did it in a way that was selective. They were asking, I showed that video, they were asking the African-American jurors during voir dire more questions than the whites to get them stricken. So that's what they did. They got the jury they wanted, and now they're still putting this in because the evidence in it is strong. And earlier today, the homeowner in that case, what they did, they showed his deposition. They played his deposition for the court to hear. And essentially, he admitted that and showed video of all of these people that were at the house. And he did not want the McMichaels or anybody. He didn't give the McMichaels authority to chase down anyone on their property. That's one thing. Not that he had to, but these guys went looking for trouble, and you see that. Now I'm just going to play a little bit of the testimony because I know we got to move on, but I want to show this. Oh, she's cute.
Well, the judge says they aren't a distraction. He's not going to keep them from coming inside the courtroom. And we also heard from attorney Robert Rubin, who joined in on that conversation, saying this is a reminder to the court to keep outside influences on the outside. The bulk of court today was listening to Larry English's deposition, and he owns the home that was under construction, and there was video of Ahmad Arbery seen there before he was killed. And as a contractor, English says it's common for people to walk through homes that are under construction. These videos are from Larry English's property in Satilla Shores. They show multiple occasions where people walked in his home under construction. In his pre-recorded deposition Thursday, we learned he didn't have no trespassing signs up. He had multiple cameras installed and called police repeatedly.
No, I've never seen you before. It don't look good, does it?
In this call, he describes a black man with tattoos just plundering or walking around. He also said the person looked like he was on drugs, but told the court it was in the spur of a moment call and that the person looked disoriented.
In going through all the videos that you watched today, cameras at the dock, cameras in the back of the house, cameras in the front of the house, at no point do you see anyone stealing any items. Right?
Stealing anything?
Correct.
English told the defense he was concerned for both the people in the video and his property. He said something was stolen from his boat, but didn't know who took it or when it happened. He showed the videos to his neighbor, Diego Perez, who messaged him back saying to call him if he sees someone else on his cameras and he'll respond immediately. English gave Perez permission to go on his property.
I have night vision goggles, and if they come around at a certain time, I may be able to intercept them or pen them up for the police. I can't stand thieves.
Travis McMichaels' attorney Robert Rubin goes on to question English, saying Perez is not the police or even a former officer, but English was grateful for him looking out for his property. Rubin says on the night of February 11th, the black man was back on English's property, and instead of calling the police, he called Perez. The state had English clarified that he did not give the McMichaels permission to confront anyone on his property. He says he spoke with Travis McMichael after the shooting, and Travis told English that he wished people would stop talking about the shooting on social media. Now, we also heard from Reverend Dr. William J. Barber today right outside the courthouse during lunch, and he said that Arbery being on that property did not mean he had to die that day. Court will pick back up tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. and we'll be right here. We're live at the Glenn County Courthouse tonight. Marilyn Parker, Channel 4, the local station.
That was Larry English, who owned that property. Thank you for that sent me that. That was News4Jax that was reporting that. So we'll move on to the Rittenhouse matter. But my whole thinking of this, guys, this one, we got to pay attention, especially to this, than to as well as the Rittenhouse matter. But this one more so because this was, I'm looking at this and I want everybody to understand. I don't want anyone to get emotional and so forth when we have these conversations, because there's a difference between someone doing something immoral versus someone doing something illegal. And each story and set of circumstances are different. But this would happen to Ahmad Arbery, my opinion, was flat out murder, period. He had no weapon. He was jogging. Even if he did break the law, that's why you call the police. You call the police, they'll handle it. I know we don't like being around the police, but these were men who went out there with their shotguns. He fired 3 times. He shot this man 3 times. And let's face it, from what I'm hearing from the testimony, they boxed him. The guy who claimed, Bryan, who had the video camera, they're reporting he boxed him in. He admitted it. He was trying to pass it on like he was a pedestrian, just was a witness to something. No, you weren't a fucking witness. You were just as guilty as them. You went hunting. He boxed him in, which is false imprisonment. And when he was running out of road, dude said, and they stopped him from moving. He said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna try and fight for my life." He didn't have a weapon. He fought with his hands. He had as much right of self-defense as they did, if not more. Get your Second Amendment game up, people.
I would say this. Those guys did something like that before at some point. I believe that's just my honest opinion.
You think they killed someone before?
I think they did it because let me tell you something. It was too easy for them to go get a camera and position it. That camera was steady. You know what I mean? That was perfect cameramanship, number one. Then you had to get ready to go get the shotgun stuff. They did this before. I'm gonna tell you something. We make a joke in the community when our fathers or uncles or brothers disappear. A lot of times you got people that come in our community and do things, and then sometimes we get too relaxed in our settings. Let me give you an example. It's not exactly the same. It's a radio host here in the Chicago area got carjacked yesterday, and he said he was shocked by who did it. And it was a white guy. But if you listen to the media, we have you think that we're the ones committing these crimes. A lot of times, these be white people coming in our communities or the communities that we think that are safe. Because I'm telling you, I really do think they did this before. Because the way they did it, it flowed too easy. It wasn't just like we just a happy accident, like they was looking for that. That's just me. I could be wrong, but usually I'm not in these situations.
Yeah. Well, what I would say, you could very well be correct, Harvey. But what made it more interesting, again, what my theory on it is, look at the fact that the police allowed this man at a crime scene. They admit to shooting him, even if they claim self-defense. That's why you have trials to prove whether it was self-defense or not. They let this man walk away while he was bloody, taking a shower, to go home and take a shower and come back to the police hours later, instead of separating all of those individuals.
This is why
they destroyed evidence.
This is why I think they done this before, because there's too many moving pieces. Because like you said, this is common sense. I was even told when we was in a manager, when a robbery happened, you guys do not talk about the people would get facts or the things mixed up. Or they would embellish things that didn't happen. That's common sense. Then found the prosecutor that she was involved in it. You know what I mean? It's just too much.
The prosecutor, 2 prosecutors, the one in Glenn County, and then the next one who wanted it. They were all involved. I wrote a letter to the bar. She's actually being charged for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why a lot of these jurisdictions now want to ban the use of cameras, because everybody got the camera now because they can catch you now. Because before, when we told people these things were going on, oh, you guys are exaggerating, you're making it up. How many more videos do we have to show you guys that this happened? A lot of people couldn't believe it, but for Black America, we're like, oh, that happens all the time. That's why we were angry, but we wasn't shocked, because look what George Zimmerman did to Trayvon Martin. He did the very same thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was told not to do something. He's like, F you, I'm gonna go do what I gotta do. And we all know what happened there. Well, like you said, we need to get our laws, our rights as American citizens when it comes to gun laws. But also, we need to get a group of lawyers, man, to have on retainer or something, man, because it just that these lawyers that they have, that they're getting, these people are not even hiding their racism anymore. And then you got it. Just I don't know, Gavin. I don't know. Sometimes it gets frustrating, when you talk about these things, because like every day it's the same old.
Right. Jackie Johnson is the DA, Darius. I think you're talking about. She's been charged with malfeasance of office for this. I actually complained about her and the other DA in the bar, because if you want to be a defense attorney, step down from the DA's office and be a damn defense attorney. There's a reason why I can't do criminal defense and work for the prosecutor's office at the same time. Why? It's a conflict of interest. And these people were defending them. Shawn, you want to say a last thing before we get into this next one, or are you finished?
Well, when I listen to Mr. Superboy's point, yeah, I think these guys did that before, because, again, like he pointed out, a guy's holding that camera is just too steady. And I know from my own working with cameras, like cell phones and digital cameras, that the way they're holding that, they've done this before, and they've terrorized people like this before. So I'm looking at this case, and if it just really, the way these guys have been behaving, they've been terrorizing the neighborhood for a while, and they think that they're going to try to get away with this one. But the whole thing is, we need to hold them accountable and hold the line right here.
Right. Now, moving on to our next topic, Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Judge tears the ADA a new one, says a little prayer for Kyle. Let me just put that in quotes. He really didn't say a prayer for Kyle. That was just me exaggerating that point. But you can tell, we've talked about the different judges. Judge Walmsley in it's not the Arbery trial, excuse me. In the Bryan McMichael trial, you saw was a little more professional. This judge, Bruce Schroeder, and let me say this as someone who knows law, there's a way that judges are supposed to conduct themselves and be professional. That's something that we're even in our profession when we take CLE credits. I just had a CLE this afternoon in professionalism. We're supposed to be professional with our clients, but also with each other. And there was an order, in fairness, that the ADA Ringer, Timothy Ringer, who's the ADA in this case, Thomas Binger, violated when he asked the question about Kyle Rittenhouse's post-silence arrest. Now, as you all have heard this up, because we brought this up with the Bill Cosby thing, not that I'm comparing these, but remember when we talk about the Fifth Amendment, right against self-incrimination, you have a right when you're being arrested, even prior to being arrested, if there's a criminal matter, not to communicate with police or anybody. You have a right to remain silent. And instructions are given to the jury, even at before they go and deliberate, whether or not they cannot consider a defendant's silence as evidence of guilt. We may consider it because we're the court of public opinion, but it's the court of law that matters at the end of the day. But jurors cannot consider that. And regardless how you feel about George Zimmerman Jr. or not, that is the law. And the prosecutor violated this. And honestly, when you see this, this is my opinion. We'll look more at some videos of it, but I feel like this prosecutor is purposely trying to get a mistrial. The stuff he's allowed, he's dropped the ball. One of the witnesses, and you'll see this here, who testified, even admitted he pointed his gun before Kyle Rittenhouse did at him. So if he does that in a juror's mind, I'm just telling y'all that could be seen as self-defense. That's enough to raise doubt, even though, yes, he was out there with his gun. And one of the big things was Rittenhouse's ass even lied about being an EMT. Now, that's not a crime per se, but it does go to, I guess you say, his character and possibly his mindset. Like, you lied to get into a certain area and so forth, trying to help people. And Tariq has shown the videos where he actually approached some black people trying to ask them for help, but the dude said, "Get away, because you pointed a gun at us before." So dude is not some fucking angel to me. But I just know law. Like I said, there's stuff that's immoral and there's stuff that's illegal. But I want to play the video for this reason, because you saw how the judge acted in the Bryan McMichael trial. Now I want y'all to see what this judge, Bruce Schroeder, did in this trial right here. And yes, it's the Blaze News, so you know that it's the Blaze, so you know what they go for.
He knows this, and he's asking the questions. I asked the court to strongly admonish him, and then the next time it happens, I'll be asking for a mistrial with prejudice. He's an experienced attorney, and he knows.
Mistrial with prejudice, guys. That means that no one can bring, if the judge grants that, no one can ever try Rittenhouse on these charges again. That's what a mistrial with prejudice does.
Mr. Finger? First of all, Your Honor, this was the subject of a motion. I'm well aware of that. And the court left the door open.
For me, not for you.
My understanding of
You should have come and asked for reconsideration. You did on the one motion, and in fact, I granted your motion for reconsideration.
That was not my motion.
Excuse me. I did. I granted.
We did not move
that
for
was their
reconsideration.
motion.
We have not filed any motions to reconsider in this case.
That was their motion for reconsideration, which I denied. But I said I denied it, or I indicated a bias towards denial is what I did. Held it open with a bias towards denial. Why would you think that that made it okay for you, without any advance notice, to bring this matter before the jury? I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence. That's basic law. It's been basic law in this country for 40 years, 50 years. I have no idea why you would do something like that. And it gives, I'll leave it at that. So I don't know what you're up to.
May I respond?
Yes.
We filed another X motion on this exact issue because, in my mind, and I argued this, it is identical to what was going on the night of August 25th, in the sense that the defendant was using this exact same weapon. He was using it in a manner to try and protect property.
No, he wasn't.
Your Honor, with all due respect,
I'm not going to rehash the motion. Yeah, that's absolutely untrue. There's no. Your arguments of record. My comments are of record, and why I ruled as I did is of record. There's nothing that I heard in this trial to suggest that anything's changed. Even if you're correct in your assumption that you know more than I did at the time, you should have come to the court and say, I want to go into this. Why you would think that you could go into it without any advance notice to the court, I don't understand that. And as the defense is pointing out, you're an experienced trial lawyer, and this should not have been gone into.
Your Honor, there have been things in this case, testimony in this case, that I believe opens the door to this. For example, the defense has introduced evidence that the defendant pointed a gun at a man wearing yellow pants because that person was on a car on the car source lot. Now, there's no justification that I can think of why the defendant would point that gun at someone. The defendant has just testified this morning that he agreed with that person in the yellow pants, that he pointed the gun at him. He said, I was joking when I said that to the guy in the yellow pants, but he's acknowledged that he told the person in the yellow pants, yeah, you're right. I did point a gun at you when you were sitting on a car.
He said, I did. That's what he
exactly.
testified.
So he's agreeing. May I finish, please? I'd like to have a chance to make a record if I could, without being interrupted, if that's okay. he has mentioned that he's acknowledged that he's used this gun to protect property. He's also just acknowledged that he knows he can't do that. I am attempting to impeach him now with the prior August 10th incident, 15 days prior, involving the same gun, where he is threatening to use that gun to protect property. It goes.
He didn't have the gun with him.
Your Honor, he is saying he wished he did so he could shoot people.
You know, there's a lot of difference between commenting about something when you haven't got a gun and threatening someone when you do.
You know, it's interesting, Your Honor, because the entire defense theory in this case is Joseph Rosenbaum, who was unarmed.
I want you to tell me what the defense theory of the case is. May I
respond to what you just said, Your Honor? I'd like to respond to what you just said.
Slow down, please.
I apologize, Madam Court Reporter, but I'd like to try and make a record without anyone interrupting me, if that's okay. I believe that there is a central part of this case that Mr. Rosenbaum is making threats that he has no ability to carry out. So, to your point, Your Honor, you're arguing that this August 10th incident, one aspect of why you don't believe it's relevant is the defendant didn't have the gun with him. This case is about someone who didn't have a weapon, and yet the jury is being told because of those threats, that means the defendant has to defend himself. So, with all due respect, Your Honor, mere verbal threats have already been shown to this jury and used as a basis for someone's subsequent actions. I am attempting with the defendant to use his mere verbal threat on August 10th, 15 days prior, that he's going to shoot shoplifters with his AR-15 to impeach the defendant in a murder trial. I would ask the court's forbearance to do that. I apologize, Your Honor. You're right. I probably should have brought this to your attention earlier. I may have misunderstood your ruling because I thought your ruling was if the evidence in this case made that more relevant, you would admit it or at least consider it an admittance. I believe, based on the evidence that we've heard, and more specifically, exactly what the defendant said earlier about admitting pointing a gun at someone who was merely jumping or sitting on a car, that the door is open now to this testimony. And I continue to believe that his state of mind, his intent, his belief as to self-defense is the core of this case. That was the basis for my motion. You were strongly inclined against it. I understand that. But now we're in the middle of trial, and there's been a lot of evidence that's come in that I think makes this relevant. So I'm attempting to impeach the defendant on his beliefs. I believe I'm entitled to impeach the defendant on his beliefs and on his statements.
I'm going to interrupt you now because you're talking about his beliefs. I think that's what they call
his statements to, Your Honor. Because he just said, can't use deadly force, can't threaten to use deadly force to protect property. So now I'm impeaching him on that.
Your Honor, the court has seen no reason to change its ruling. And just so this record is clear, in spite of the lengthy statement by Mr. Binger, before we started today, the court specifically stated in Mr. Binger's presence, there's been nothing to have me change any of my rulings. There have been numerous occasions during this trial where they've opened the door. The one time when they're going into Mr. Rosenbaum's the reason he doesn't like guns, and I said something, I whispered in Mr. Krause's ear, it's because of the prior convictions. Please stop, and he did. He knows if you're going to go into something that's been excluded in a pretrial order, you better ask the court, you better get permission. This is ridiculous.
It wasn't excluded, Your Honor.
You know why it was excluded in the first place? Because it was propensity evidence. That is exactly what 90404 is designed to prevent. You're talking about his attitudes. His attitude is he wants to shoot people. Now, I've admitted that kind of evidence in other trials when it's been appropriate. I didn't admit it in this case because, to me, what I've heard in this trial, and by the way, Mr. Richards absolutely correctly points out that just hours ago, I said I had heard nothing in this trial to change any of my rulings. So why?
Testimony, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
That was before the testimony.
Don't get brazen with me. You knew very well. You know very well that an attorney can't go into these types of areas when the judge is.
Only thing was missing is he should have said young man after that brazen. Don't you get brazen with me, young man. Don't do it. I'm gonna finish the video and then I will get we'll wrap up more.
Without asking outside the presence of the jury to do so. So don't give me that. That's number one. Number two, this is propensity evidence. I said at the time that I made my ruling, and I'll repeat again now for you, I see no similarity between talking about wishing you had your AR gun, which you don't have, so that you could fire rounds at these thought to be shoplifters, and the incidents in these cases, which are not, there's nothing in your case that suggests the defendant was lying in wait to shoot at somebody or reflecting upon the shooting for a vast amount of time. Every one of the incidents involves matters that involve seconds in time. So I commented at the time, I don't see the similarity, and I don't see the similarity now. If it's not similar, that's the whole rule. Those are all the exceptions to 90404. Check the authorities, wait more on evidence. Judge Weinstein, Colonel McCormick, it's the prior act has to bear the signature of the accused, or it has to be so similar as to suggest it's a common plan or something like that. You have an incident where he's making comments about some alleged shoplifters versus crimes that involve instantaneous actions, whether premeditated murder or whether self-defense, that's for the jury to decide. But I don't see the similarity. I said it couldn't come in, and it isn't coming in, no matter what you think. Number two, I have to be concerned that with what Mr. Richards has said about the progress of the trial, and when you were I said you were over the line, close to or over the line on commenting on the defendant's pretrial silence, which is a well-known rule. I'm astonished that would have been an issue. So I don't want to have another issue as long as this case continues. Is that clear? It is. Thank you. That's the jury.
George stepping up. All right, I want to share that one. So next thing I wanted to share video. Now it picked up earlier today. Harvey, you should have been in the courtroom. You would have gotten a round of applause. The judge asks for veterans to stand.
Yeah, I saw that. He was playing to the audience.
Well, that's unusual not to have at least somebody in here. Oh, Dr. Black is what branch? Okay, and I think we go.
That was the expert that was going to testify.
Okay, so you know.
I think he gave him waffles after that. Now, Tariq was sharing this, but y'all know earlier LeBron James was mocking, this happened too. He was mocking Kyle Rittenhouse crying like a old ass Pekingese. They got gifts on it now. And the judge, let me say this, the judge didn't allow certain things to come in, like his prior abuse of a woman, beating up girls, him hanging out at this bar. They couldn't even bring these shirts. Like this was sometime, I believe, after he was released. This was, I believe, after the shooting.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, but then this happened yesterday.
There were.
Watch him look at the jury. Look at the judge.
People right there.
I'm surprised he didn't poop his pants trying to get one tear out.
If he got much time, he could have done that too.
That's what That's right, run. Time for our break anyway. You can just relax for a minute, sir.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break.
Would you like a sippy cup? The judge should just give him a sippy cup. You want some juice? You want some juice in your baba? Hold on, let me show y'all this. This ain't the one though. Everybody's talking about that.
This is propensity evidence. I said at the time that I made that ruling, and I'll repeat again now for you.
Let me show this. That's not the one. This is the one that got me yesterday.
Oh,
Now,
his
this is
mom
Kyle
looked when she was on the camera. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse mama. That's she looked
was
like Louis.
smiling.
Yeah, she looked like Louis Anderson.
Louis Anderson.
Okay, what are you doing?
I'm gonna be on fries next.
Where's little Lulu? I thought it started already. Yeah. Yeah, she's laughing.
Oh, girl, right there. Notice the camera. Look at watch. The camera's on you. Cry.
Yeah, now.
Cry.
That's the one that did it for me. But yeah, they see the judge. I think is. Kyle Rittenhouse's acting coach.
You know it's bad when white people like Joe Scarborough and them got on TV this morning. It was basically saying that he was faking. Joy Behar. I mean, you got white folk even saying, "Yo, dude, it didn't come across natural."
Right. Well, you know that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Harvey.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Gavin. I didn't interrupt.
Well, you know I was gonna let you finish, but you know what that really is too. He killed 3 white boys, and one of them was Jewish.
Oh yeah. That you know what? I wanted to say that, but I wanted. Oh boy.
Rosenbaum. I say it. Rosenbaum. Yeah, you.
Rosenbaum. Exactly. And my thing is this: you was bragging. You was posing with Rick Schroeder. You had him in the bar with the shirts. He wouldn't tell people where he went. He was cocky. Now you get on the stand. I ain't buying it.
Right. Well, let me say this too. In fairness, there was a protective order. And if the judge told them they cannot talk about this, the prosecutor should not have brought it up.
And, oh no, I agree 100%. That he shouldn't have. You can't violate somebody's constitutional right. To self-incriminate. But I'm glad you played the whole clip all the way through, and not the edited version that's been played all over the news where the judge is yelling. It was always more to that. He did open himself up when he was saying things like, I wanted to shoot somebody. And the judge, like the prosecution is, I think they trying to get a mistrial because they know their hands are tied with this judge. I really do.
And their witnesses and even some of their witnesses, I'll say this, have fallen apart. Like the guy who testified, I'll just show this with you here. This article, this is out of Wisconsin. Gage Grosskreutz, I believe is his name.
Mm-hmm.
He admitted that when he was being cross-examined by defense attorney Corey Krafasi, it wasn't until you pointed your gun at him and advanced on him that he fired, right? And Grosskreutz confirmed, yes. So if he pointed his gun at the guy, and black people on YouTube, don't get mad at me. I'm just saying what self-defense is. I know the law. If you point a gun at someone, they have a right. If they believe you're in fear of their life, they have a right to fire back. So they may use that. That one might raise doubt on that. And that's why I think. Yeah, go ahead, Sean. Go ahead, Harvey.
Well, you know what? I don't think anybody would deny that. I mean, even when I was in the military, but you know what? They told us don't fire unless a shot is fired. But of course, it's not the military. But the point I'm trying to make is that Kyle Rittenhouse left the state of Illinois to go to Wisconsin. He was going there to do damage. They was going to hunt black people. It just so happened they came across a bunch of liberal-minded white folk that decided, hey, we're going to stop you because he was pointing guns at people. And I keep telling people that boy was trained. Look how he had his hand on that weapon. Only police and military believe me, I know enough. I fired my weapon enough. I know situational awareness. They was going to shoot some black folk, and white folk got in the way. And half the country is conflicted. Do we put this boy in jail? Do we make him a victim? But the judge is clearly in the tank for Cal. And and I told everybody last year, I said, don't be surprised he don't go to jail. Because the way it look, he ain't gonna get no time. I'm telling you. If he does,
the only thing he might get time for was illegal possession of the firearm, but he's not gonna get time. That's the only thing. Let me phrase that. He'd be convicted on that one, but I don't know if they're gonna get him on intentional murder, reckless homicide, just the way that they have set that out. And let me share with y'all, since you mentioned the Judge Harvey, and I'm gonna let Shawn speak on it too. I want to share this. It's another article I was looking at here. I'm trying to see if I had it right. Oh, if I lost it, but yeah, no, here it is here. This is on Google. I want y'all to look at the articles that have come out. And yeah, you're right, Scarborough, and I don't like and listen to them either on MSNBC. But look at this. Don't blame Judge Slate wrote this. Don't blame Judge Schroeder if Kyle Rittenhouse goes free. The Kyle Rittenhouse judge is acting. This is Vanity Fair, and we know how we feel about Vanity Fair. It's the actual worst. Rittenhouse judge blocks question on politics of witness. So he interrupted the prosecutor on that. Now, this guy who was there, who testified on Kyle's behalf, he works for a right-wing news media. Real America's Voice. So
the fix is in.
Yeah, there's a definite fix in. But when I look at Kyle Rittenhouse from the perspective of me studying beta males for years, like I did for my book, The Man Crisis, he definitely, as I see it, was looking to plan a mass shooting. That's what I see with him manipulating people to get down to Kenosha. And I believe he really was going to do more harm to people. And
right,
like this boy came out and said, if the white liberals hadn't gotten to him, he would have planned a mass shooting of black people, because that's why he came there with an AR-15, because no teenage boy wants to go to a riot. I mean, think about that critically. No teenage boy wants to go into the middle of a riot zone.
I got a better one, Shawn. What mother brings their child to a riot?
Yeah.
But I mean, he's saying his reason is we're going to go and protect property. Who asked you? And
nobody asked him.
Why would you go all the way out there for it?
That's a good question, because I look at his mother and I say, why hasn't this woman been charged with reckless endangerment and child abuse? Because what she did was child abuse, because no mother is going to send her son into the middle of a riot. And the reason why I believe she wanted to send him there is because, again, she was supporting him in his plan to participate in this mass shooting.
Y'all, wait, hold on. Look at this. The woman comforting Kyle Rittenhouse at trial was O.J. Simpson's jury consultant. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Boy, you can't make this shit up.
Whoa.
I read that earlier and I was like, really? But I'm not shocked, because you can look at
Joellen Demetrius.
I mean,
so she was not a friend. She's paid to be there.
Yep.
She's been working with the defense team.
Follow the facts. Follow the fact. I'm telling you. Let me tell you what this is more about. This is about with Floyd. You remember when they got the cop and had experts come in and stuff? This is saying, okay, last year you niggas got that cop to go to jail. Now we're gonna get this white boy out. I'm telling you what it is. They try to balance the scales. I already know what it is.
He's crying like, look at he's crying like Shem from the Three Stooges.
He's trying to pander to the jury, and it's just so pathetic.
And Shawn made a good point. What teenage boy wants to participate in something like that? And then your mom sending you. How many mothers found out their sons want to go into law enforcement or the military and try to talk them out of it? But yet this mom is going to say, hey, son, I want you to go to Wisconsin with an AR-15 and walk up and down the streets at night.
That wasn't his AR-15. It was a friend. Somebody.
They got bought it for him.
But no parent would let them do that.
Oh,
And
not in their right mind.
And any so-called aspiring person who wanted to be in law enforcement, like your Kyle Rittenhouse alleges, he would understand to respect chain of command, and he would understand to respect the watch commanders. I mean, he wouldn't want to go into that zone because watch commanders really, they need to contain the situation, and him being there is a real serious threat hazard to them. I mean, I remember watching an old episode of, what is it, Adam 12 or Dragnet. They were talking about they don't really want civilians in that kind of situation because it could lead to them either getting hurt or them hurting someone.
Or they're just getting in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
usually
then he's talking about he was a medic. Look, you know how to put a tourniquet on somebody. That's as far as his training go.
Yeah.
He's not a license because he would get all kinds
Well,
of
he
laws.
admitted he lied, Harvey.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. We know they found out this boy had a past. He had said he wished to shoot people. He beat up a girl. The judge did the same thing that the judge did with George Zimmerman. You got a laundry list of this dude's past. Just at the age of 18, he didn't get a lot of stuff. But they said, no, we're not going to bring that in. It shows a pattern that this dude does not respect the law. He's arrogant. At 17, he's arrogant.
I mean, he's George Zimmerman Jr. because just like George Zimmerman, he didn't respect authority. He did not respect authority figures. And that's why Zimmerman failed at being in his police academy training. And the same thing would happen to Kyle Rittenhouse if he went into law enforcement, because in law enforcement, you have to follow those rules to the letter, and you have to follow the commands of your sergeants and your supervisors and your watch commanders. If you don't follow those rules, you're going to wind up in a lot of trouble. And there's him being there shows that he had no respect for male authority or authority figures. And him coming there, again, just showed he just was a clear and present danger to everyone.
Now, so I don't know who did this, but the Oscar goes to, he's crying like Sally Field. You like me.
Oh, man, you go way back.
You really like me.
You really love me. But you know, the thing is, I know that some people in our community like, well, a few dead white people. No. You have to realize he went to Wisconsin to hunt black people.
Yeah, he went there to kill black people.
Black people. See, people keep missing that point. If it wasn't for those white liberals or those people of good conscience, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, they tried to stop the boy. Because they say he had been pointing the gun at people, talking shit all day. And they got video, but the judge would not let it be brought into court. So the judge, you had to question after the trial, let's say for shits and giggles, Kyle get convicted. This judge still need to be investigated, in my personal opinion, because the rulings was like, he's important. And you notice the media keeps saying, he's a teenager. No, he's a young man. He made an adult decision by carrying that weapon across state line.
Even if he was 17, shit, you know how many black kids they try as adults for murder?
Look at Tamir Rice, little boy playing a shotgun, got shot within seconds, but trying to say he looked like a grown man. This is a big ass 18-year-old. He's a man. He can go fight for his country. He can vote. He's not a baby. And the thing is, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. If he gets off, he's gonna be hailed as a hero by the Fox crowd. If he goes to jail, he's going to be treated as a martyr. Either way, we're screwed because then white folk are going to say, hell, well, I'm going to go get my gun and do the same thing. And if he thought that he was protecting the people, that he would stay behind the police line. He would be standing by the squad car stuff. No, they let him walk right in to do maximum damage. He was hoping he shot a black person. And people can tell me otherwise, but why would you go there?
Yeah.
To protect property. If you want to protect property, he could stay in his home state. He could have came up on the north side or west side, south side of Chicago and say, hey, let's protect these old buildings. Let's clean up these lots if he was about property. No, he went into another state with a bunch of other white supremacists. They said, we can go hunt some niggers tonight. We're going to use the cloak of darkness. That's what, come on. There's no way around that.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I understand all of that, what you're saying. Yeah, he went there, and I believe that. He was pointing the gun earlier. The brother even told him when he said he came up to him asking, did y'all need help? He was like, you pointed that gun at us earlier. Don't do that. And, he's doing that there with no supervision, too. Nobody would bring a child to a riot because they know, first and foremost, not only could something happen to anybody else, but the legal ramifications like you're seeing now. What if those guys get sued for bringing them out there? Oh, wait, he was in your company? You brought him out there? Guess what? they could file a lawsuit against you.
And the Department of
Or
Children
get
and Family,
you, or get you actually tried for criminal conspiracy.
yeah,
You could be
and the
arrested for
Department
that.
of Children and Family Services in Illinois and Wisconsin should have been investigating the mother. He was a minor. At 17, he was under her jurisdiction. Whether he did it without her permission or whether how the story goes, she should have been investigating. Say, wait a minute, you let your 17-year-old son go out here and fire weapons that are used in the military? And I'm gonna keep pointing to how he had his hand on that weapon. I know because that's the way I was trained. When he fell down, when I did the video last year saying when he fell down, how he moved, he had been trained by somebody in law enforcement or military because he got them shots off too good. Center mass in the chest, that one guy, no way.
Look at this. Now, this is the stuff I don't know if the judge allowed this in. I don't even allow footage of it, but
You just don't want to get up the court, trying to help you up. Now you trying to matter. I remember you said get up the court. Yeah.
Well, yesterday or today?
Today. He just had up the gun. Come on, get up the court. Now he's talking about
What car over in the dealership? Sorry.
yeah, so that's the black dude. He came up to it and he said, told him to get out of here. You pointed that gun at him.
You just don't want to get up the court, trying to help you up. Now you trying to matter. I remember you said get up the court. Yeah.
Came looking for trouble.
And I'm gonna tell you something. If he really wanted to be able to help be a medic, why don't you take a gun? What medic? Unless even in the military, the medics didn't carry weapons. Like I didn't say too much, but they just put it like this. I was in a war zone, and the medic that I had riding with me, he didn't have weapons. We was pissed his weapon. You see what I'm saying? He's supposed to be in there like, I want to go there and help people. I'm a medic, but you carrying a weapon around at the ready. Come on, man.
Now look, man. Now look, Harvey. Look, he's making signals to the police. So yeah, he's clearly trained. He's clearly
look how he
trained.
carrying that weapon. Look how he walking.
But
He
look
walking
at the
like
signals he's giving.
He walking like Johnny Badass. We did the same thing. Once you fire a weapon and you know you can fire, look at his hand. What his hand said.
Yeah.
He never leave. I'm telling you, military and police training. They train him. That's why I'm surprised the lawyers didn't bring this shit up. The media, of course, they ain't gonna bring it up. But look how he hold. And then when he took his hand off the weapon, he put his other hand in place. Look at him.
Well, remember the lawyers, the judge would not allow certain things in the court. So that's probably why they haven't discussed stuff like this, because the order that the judge gave. And they do that, a pretrial order where they say this is going to be discussed and this can't be discussed. Like, for instance, this video the prosecutors wanted to bring in where he's beating this girl, he couldn't bring that up.
You gonna be the bitch though? You gonna be the bitch? He trying to be tough. Look at him. He said, "Say it again." Oh, fuck! They gonna come take us first. No cap, you say, "Oh, punch that bitch." Oh, man, she already smacked her. And she's on the police. Yeah, punch that bitch. She was on police. Move, car, move. Oh yeah. Oh what? Oh, no. He punching the bitch. He punching the bitch.
Hey, hello. You know the irony of this is that the black people seem to be more calm and collected than the white folk. Just like with this video, yeah, they was recording it, but it was nothing but white folks acting like the thugs.
Yep.
And in the media, you never heard them say, "Where's his father?" Not one time. I've not heard them say, "Where's his father? Where's this young man's father?"
They didn't bring up his divorce. They didn't bring up the divorce proceedings of his mother and father. Nothing like that.
Talk about his sister.
Criminal records.
They put the camera in the family face. And usually, if something happens, they'll go file one of our aunts and uncles. Could you tell me about Harvey's childhood? Oh yeah, he did this when he was a kid. They don't have nothing to do. And then the Chicago media market. Now they cover it because it's like the last few days. But for the entire year, they barely talked about it. It's too focused on Jussie Smollett and R. Kelly. You know what I mean? They gave this kid young man a wide berth. You know, and I'm telling you right now, I'm watching that video, his movements. I'm telling y'all, these teenagers that y'all think don't have the same hangups that we or our parents or grandparents had. Kyle Rittenhouse is a walking testament that they are just as dangerous today. And even more so because we think that because they 17, 18, they're not capable of this. I'm telling you, at night, these white boys be driving through our neighborhoods. They be target practicing, and we get blamed for it. I'm telling you, Kyle Rittenhouse, he was trained by someone in the military and law enforcement. No ROTC do shit like that. Trust and believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely trained by somebody in the military to handle a weapon
Trained
like
by
that.
white supremacists that served in the military. That's my bet. But look, we're gonna move on to that. We got two more topics. I guess I'll get to this one. Is the media hyping up criminal charges against Travis Scott? Now, sadly, it was just reported earlier, I read, that the death toll has actually climbed in the Astro World crowd crush that occurred this past weekend. According to CNN, I just read this earlier, a young lady by the name of Bharati Shahani has died recently, and 22 years old. She died on Wednesday night, her attorney, James Lassiter, said. Shahani, a student at Texas A&M University, attended the concert with her cousin and younger sister, according to
Doing nothing might not feel it.
Mohit, her cousin, Mohit Balani. I know I'm butchering these names. So the death toll has risen to 9 over the crowd crush. The event was canceled Saturday after the deaths that were announced. And TMZ actually had this up where they showed Travis Scott. They reported that Travis Scott went to a Dave & Buster's after the concert was over, basically looking like Travis was insensitive of the incident that happened. This was the article that was right here. He attended Astroworld after party at Dave & Buster's, said he was still unaware of tragedy. And I noticed how they have it in bold, bigger caps, bigger font compared to this. And TMZ, they have a history of doing this and hyping this up. They are classless. I don't like really sharing stuff from them because what they did with Kobe Bryant by releasing his notice of his death before the family even had an opportunity to learn from the police. And apparently, Travis Scott, he has had a history of promoting what they say is promoting violence. He has encouraged people to jump off banisters and things of that nature. He was arrested, I know, for a concert back in Arkansas. But now, after this crowd crush that took place, I'm going to mute it. This is just some video of it. Now, I don't know about you all, but first and foremost, aren't we still in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this incident took place in a red state.
Well, I know it's in a red state, but 50,000 people still, private businesses, they can practice COVID distancing. They still have private, we're in a blue state here, red state here in a blue city. We still have COVID protocol that's in place about the number of people that can be in there, although they removed the mask mandates. But private businesses can still do that. But I'm trying to bring this up too, because there's also something called common sense. Would you bring a minor child to this concert?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. This is why I did the video I did the other day. I mean, it's sad that people lost their lives, but people got to use common sense. If you're going to first of all, during a pandemic, you just put yourself at risk, number one, right there. But you go into a place where these type of concerts are known to get out of hand. There's going to be a bunch of people, and then when you saw the people storm, they got video of people storming the security. Right then, you should say, maybe I shouldn't go in there. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But then the fire department trying to put it on Travis. You're the fire department. Aren't you supposed to have people in place that say, hey, this is exceeded capacity?
Yeah.
I just, and then the police, I mean, what it is that this is a black guy and they know that they're going to be able to pass the buck. But even the people who died, and they're saying that they died, they bear some responsibility. It's like if I go play with a loaded gun, Russian roulette, and I blow my brains out, that's on me. I knew what I was doing. I picked up the damn gun. I knew there was a chance that that might be a bullet in the chamber, and it might kill me. I mean, I just don't know. People don't use common sense
folks
anymore.
coming out of the crowd, complaining of difficulty breathing.
Now this is a 911 call.
Seems like the crowd is compressing, from what I could tell. I was on the Delta side, and I probably saw at least 4 or 5 people pouring out of the crowd, just trying to get away from the crowd. The cops are still going on. The crowd is compressing, it's compressing, and the intel we're getting is that the barricade might be compromised or being compromised. So
I'm gonna say this too, guys. This is a lawyer's dream. I'm gonna just say this with you because you got Live Nation, you got Drake, and you got Travis Scott named at this event. So
But you notice they're not talking about Drake. You notice they're giving they're not talking about Drake. They put this on Travis, and you got Drake Trump up in there.
But Drake is being sued.
Yeah, he's being sued, but the media is not dropping his name.
Yeah,
no, they're not.
Like they're
trying
not.
to make Travis a fall guy.
unconscious in the crowd.
Now, I'm going to say this because I mentioned his history. He's been arrested before for this. Like, you can be arrested for what we call, in Louisiana, we call them in cahoot offenses, where it's multiple parties that are involved. Like I mentioned, criminal conspiracy, there's solicitation for murder. There's also something called inciting a felony. So I don't know what the law in Texas is, but they do have an incitement statute, if I'm not mistaken, and they're talking about pressing charges. He was arrested before for stuff like this. Remember when someone took his shoe and he was encouraging the crowd to beat the shit out of the guy? So he can be. So now they're talking about bringing criminal charges. And what's happening, though, and I'm going to play another video. The police chief and the fire department are facing scrutiny, and I'm going to give my take on that.
So right now, if you can engage on the perimeter, get to them. If not, try your best and go command into that crowd to help out. Other than that, be careful.
Well, they have to stop the show because there's people tremble and they're not breathing.
You guys are doing well. Take a breath. Everyone's doing a good job. Now listen, what I need is for people to get things under control at the medical tent. HFC's been advised. They are listening to our channel.
Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, guys.
Okay? Help is coming. Just take a deep breath and relax. We'll work through this.
Donate to the Cash App. Please put the Cash App. GavinRichardEsq.
That's what Live Nation in your eyes.
Here. Where we are right now. Let's be back over.
They're overhead right now.
HP 4 o'clock. Give us an update on what you did.
Now look at this. I think this is the video. Now he stopped the concert at one point to let the ambulance come through. And I think I've seen the video. One of the fools was on top of the ambulance. I got to mute it because they'll hit me with that copyright. But I'm trying to find the one where one of the fools was on top of the ambulance.
I don't think he knew what was going on with the other stuff. Because I've been on stage before. When you got lights, and let me tell you, that many people, it becomes a blur. It becomes one big mass.
Right. How is he going to know 8 people are getting trampled or 20, 30 people? You can't see that.
And then the people that was trying to tell them to stop the concert, I commend them, but if it's not law enforcement or somebody in the official capacity doing it, or somebody get on stage and say, hey, stop the music, stop performing, they're not going to know. But like I said, you got a lot of people out here are so damn, no disrespect, Gavin, but they're very litigious. We live in a very litigious society. I mean, the very next day, everybody lawyered up. And then you got Ben Crump. Now, his ass come out. I'm like, oh, God, no. So you knew the fix was coming.
Look, now, wait, look at this. Kylie Jenner looked concerned. Look how they word this. She looked concerned during the concert. It's a 48-second clip.
You know how they're gonna do.
Wait, but look. Hold on a second. I want you to see if you can see her face clearly. Now they're gonna pause it, and you can see Kylie and her sister Kendall. But I want you to tell me how you can tell she looks concerned. Just by this.
You know what they're gonna do? Anything that's related to that family, they're gonna try to put it on them because they clickbait.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
but there's a point that I'm making with this, Harvey, and that's the point: is the media trying to hype this up to get him locked up because he's got a kid with her.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets sentenced to jail, you know she's a Kardashian. Of course, she's gonna leave him.
And she's filthy rich.
She's filthy rich. She's a billionaire. Now, look, the NRG Park was where the event was held. It had a $26 million insurance policy for the festival. So you know they're gonna get it's gonna be more money than that. Trust me, because there's debts involved.
Yep.
You got funeral costs. Travis did announce he's willing to pay for it. All of the funeral costs he's gonna take care of. But this is the article, and I'm gonna show the video right quick. This is from NBC News. I want y'all to look at this. Cheryl said, "Oh no, Marshmallow Crump." Oh, I met Ben Crump. Ben Crump was, I'll just say this, he was nice with me, but some things I've heard some. Well, I'll just say this. Some stuff I wish he would, if he especially go to trial with some of this stuff so we could see what happens. Now, he's not a criminal defense lawyer. When these wrongful death suits happen, they go in a civil case. They don't go in a criminal matter. The criminal matter, that's the prosecutor that has to bring that up. But I think, like some of his civil trials, his civil cases, I wish they could go to court so we could see what happened. But, it was something funny. I saw Corey Holcomb, who's your native out of Chicago. He made a comment that he said that he called him that lawyer that always loses. He said, if he came to my door, I would sick my dog on him. I thought it was funny. But look at this. Hold on. Let me show this.
Imagine feeling the freedom of 20/20 vision without the hassle of foggy glasses or contacts. Well, thanks to the LASIK Vision Institute, that freedom could be yours. We're making LASIK even more affordable with 20% off LASIK for those treated in August.
The moment that I was able to see for the first time, I did ask myself, wow, why did I wait so long?
Go to lvideals.com to schedule your free consultation at the LASIK Vision Institute.
Skip these damn ads.
LASIK is right for you. Visit lvideals.com.
Don't wait a second more.
I want to skip them. Damn it.
I accepted the fact that I might have died. And
For Gabby Simeone, the Friday night flashbacks are haunting. Her screams caught on camera after the 17-year-old's knee popped when crowds knocked her down. Her phone accidentally recording the moments she thought were her last.
6 or 7 people were on top of me at one point.
Her friend pulling her to safety just seconds later.
I thought I was going to lose her, and that scared me the most, honestly.
Tonight, the Houston police chief responding to calls for an independent investigation, defending his meeting with Travis Scott before the show.
Somebody's referring to a special relationship. If you call meeting him twice, special relationship, that's not a close relationship to me.
As investigators pore over those critical concert minutes, a stunning admission from Houston's fire chief. When asked if his department had any communication with organizers during the show, said,
"No, we didn't have on scene. We did not have direct communications with those organizers. No."
Firefighters not the only ones feeling cut off from the crisis.
Being in this crowd is literally a life threat. That was apparent.
EMT Remington Richardson shared on social media how he fought through crowds to reach fans who passed out. His mission made even harder, with blaring music drowning radio calls for backup. Richardson forced to bypass the less injured as he tried to save critical patients.
I had to tell all of them, I will try to come back for you, but people are literally dead right now that I need to go help.
And tonight, police addressing an account of a security guard being injected with drugs, knocking him unconscious. The chief saying that's not true and that he was struck in the head. Lester?
Y'all do notice there's a large number of white folk in that crowd, right?
Yeah, predominantly white.
Predominantly white.
All of the victims are non-FBA, are not black. So
except that black boy, the 9-year-old black boy.
the 9-year-old black kid, yeah. But he's still alive, thank God, for now. But
yeah.
But you
and
know,
the reason why I bring that up, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Gavin. The reason why I bring that up is because the media, Tavis is new nigga of the month. Last month it was Dave Chappelle. Before that was Denzel Washington, and so forth and so forth. It's like every month they have to have a new black man. Look, the fire department should get most of the blame because how do you not
he just
know?
said he didn't meet.
That's what I'm saying. How do you not know?
But how does the fire department not meet with somebody as related to an event? That's a critical question I have to ask because you usually work out the occupancy standards as related to the venue, and you also work out a security plan with your security director in the police department so that you can be able to control the crowd. So you will usually work out those logistics before the event even starts so that you can contain people so that you wouldn't have them out of control like what I saw in the video.
Because I mean, that's been in place for like over 70 some years. Because I don't know if you guys know about these different events, these fires that happened back in the 50s and even before that, and these sweatshops where they have maximum occupancy, and then that's why they have a certain ticket count. And look how this is what I would have stopped it right here. That's when you should have stopped it.
Yeah, that's what it should have been.
Right. They were running past security. I didn't even see people. I saw people going through metal detectors that like nothing. That's another security issue.
Yeah.
They could be bringing guns in there.
That proves there's no logistics done whatsoever.
And then the media was there. So how they see this is this is what I'm talking about. And look at it. This goes back to what I was saying. Predominantly white people or Hispanic was there. You didn't see a lot of our brothers and sisters running around acting like stupid like that. Because we would have said, man, it's too crazy in there. Man, going the fuck up in there. You know, let's just keep it real. Boy, I tell you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the other footage, but I saw people. It wasn't like this. The video I saw, I saw crowds rushing through the gate.
They destroyed the metal detectors. They was running up the hill, looking at the camera. They didn't even hide their face.
Right, here it is here. I think this is it. Yeah.
A huge event happening in Houston this
Look at
weekend,
that.
Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival. And the video you're seeing now is when the gates opened earlier this afternoon and fans did get a little too excited rushing in there. You saw some people trip. Well, security and metal detectors were also
a little excited. Look at how they're spinning it.
Running, pushing,
now, if these were
shoving.
black kids,
Some
it'd be
people
a
even
whole
got
different
trampled
story.
over.
These little thugs ran over and broke
little too excited,
materials
rushing in
related
there.
to
You saw
the
some
Astroworld
trip.
Festival
Well,
by that
security-
famous
the
minstrel
gates
show,
opened
Travis
earlier
Scott.
this afternoon, and fans did get
I
a
mean,
little
call him
this
minstrel, but
weekend.
I
Travis
mean,
in Houston this weekend, Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival. And the video you're seeing now is when the gates opened earlier
I ain't
this
like
afternoon,
nothing.
and fans did get
They just
to the
knocked shit
ground
over.
There was running,
They
pushing,
ran past
shoving.
security.
Some people even got
Look, that's
trampled over.
security. Look, one security guard. What is he gonna do? With a backpack. One guard with a backpack. What that Negro gonna do?
But see, this is the thing they always do. Just like when the championships are won, they blow up, they flip over buses and cars and start fire. Oh, they just got a little rowdy. But let us be like we about to go celebrate. Bring out the military, bring out the National Guard, lock everything up, cut off this route. Like I said, Travis, excuse me. Travis is the new nigga of the month. And because who he's got a child by and her connection to her older sisters being the Kardashians, and then she's filthy rich, they figured, oh, they can afford it. We can get some millions off of it. And then insurance companies, the company the production company, they gotta pay it. They're gonna have to pay it because
not just the production company, but also the park where they were located. They have to pay. They got an insurance policy on NRG Park. They're gonna have to pay Travis Scott's company. And the thing about Travis is that now nobody's gonna want to touch him. If he wants to do a concert or anything like that, managers, promoters, they'll stay away from him as a result of this. But here's the thing, though, too, Harvey. In 1979, out in Cincinnati, you had the Who concert that took place where there was a similar incident where 11 people were killed, and they were killed, as a result of a stampede from the crowd trying to get in 2 doors of this indoor stadium. Do you know that the show went on even after that? The Who said they didn't know that this had happened. They didn't even know that this had happened, but nobody said that. So it's not the first time this stuff has happened, but the way the media is reporting it is like you would think Travis Scott dropped a nuclear bomb on Washington, D.C. and declared war on America the way they're going at it.
Yeah,
I'm not saying – I'm sorry, Sean?
Yeah, what they're doing is similar to what they did to Heavy D and Sean Diddy Combs back in 1991, where they tried to demonize Heavy D and Sean Diddy Combs for an incident that took place here in New York with the City College of New York, where a stampede took place because the event was oversold. It was supposed to be a rappers and basketball game, and they oversold it. And then what happened was these kids wound up stampeding through the gym, and 9 people sadly wound up losing their lives. So what they're doing here is something, it's not new, but what they want to do to Travis Scott is what they wanted to do to Puff Daddy back in the day, and the same thing with Heavy D. They want to make him the fall guy for this whole thing. They want to make him the bad guy, but there's blame to go all around as related to this case, but they don't want to hold any of the other people accountable, like those who, like the fire chief or the police chief. I mean, these people, again, should have been on their logistics as related to this event. And the fact that there wasn't enough security to contain things, I mean, they want to make it where it's all Travis Scott's fault, but it's not all his fault.
And then they try to say the police chief and him had a relationship. Like the police chief that beat somebody twice, that means that's a relationship? Come on.
No, that's nothing. When you're doing an event like this, and I've seen events like Comic-Con.
The mayor has a relationship with the family, but
you need to have more. You usually have more than one meeting regarding an event,
right?
And that's only for the publicity. Just standard people come to you, the celebrities come, you take pictures, and people may not remember. They don't even know who they talking to. Oh, you stand next to this person, take this picture. It's like, okay, thank you, go about your business.
Can y'all see this? Look at this. I think it was Emperor Rev asked for the video. That's them dancing on top of the damn ambulance. These kids were possessed. And I'm not trying.
I'm sorry.
What you were about to say, Harvey? Go ahead.
What it is that they, how can I say this? They have no boundaries.
No.
They not, and what it is, they do whatever they want, and then until somebody get killed, then now they got to find a way to blame everybody else but themselves.
Right.
I mean, it just, like I said, it's sad that people die, but and I'm gonna be honest, the father that took his 9-year-old son, what kind of father? You're supposed to protect your child. You don't take him into that kind of environment, especially at 9 years old. What does a 9-year-old need to be listening to that kind of music anyway? In that type of situation, that was more for the father than anything. It's like when the parents are taking their daughters to see R. Kelly. What kind of parent are you?
So I would never take my kids to any sort of concert. It's not good for their ears. It's not good for their mental health. I mean, the most I would go is maybe a Disney movie. But if I had kids, I would not take them to no concert. It's just too dangerous.
Yeah,
you don't know what it's like to be a victim until you become a victim. And those people, I get it. The crowd, this is a younger crowd. They have no care in the world, but certainly I would not bring a 9-year-old a 9-year-old to this event. Even if my kids were teenagers, I wouldn't know if I would want them at something like that, especially if you look at just the impact of a crowd. Let me just tell you how things were. Like when I've been to music festivals, that's the police chief that spoke. When I've been to music festivals, they're possessed with stupidity. For instance, if you go to Essence Music Festival, let me just tell you how the security is there. Even though it's a black event, we can't stand in the middle of the aisles, even if I'm on the concert floor. If you stand up and you stand in an aisle, they will have the guards, they will have the people working the floor telling you to get out the aisle. That even happened when Kanye West was performing at Essence. I went there and I'm upstanding and I tried to move a little as close as I could, but they would be telling you, no, you got to get away from this. You got to move away from that. Move back there. They will do that. You can't do this at something like this where it's outdoors. You got 50,000 people there, and the cop, the police chief, who's saying we don't have a relationship with Travis Scott. Now, Sylvester, the mayor of Houston, he actually, I think, is close with the family of Travis Scott, his mother and grandmother and his sister, if I'm not mistaken. He knows them, but the police chief
according to the medical staff that was out and treated him last night, that he was reaching over to restrain or grab the citizen, and he felt the prick in his neck. When he was examined, he went unconscious. They administered Narcan. He was revived, and the medical staff did notice prick that was
now that didn't happen.
A prick that you would get if somebody's trying to inject.
That didn't happen. Y'all heard him earlier say that wasn't true. He got hit with a rock. That wasn't a needle.
You see how they start lies up and people believe and it was reported everywhere. Yeah. I thought that sounded weird. Like, how would you know you got stuck with a needle if you? I mean, like I said, maybe I'm just using too much logic. But when I heard it, I said that don't sound right. I said, why would they hit a security guard and he's outnumbered? Okay, whatever. But the thing is that people ran with the story, and the media maybe because it was a slow news cycle. They made like it was the worst thing. I remember back in the 80s and early 90s with those glam rock concerts, the mosh pits and everything. Yeah, I don't know. Sean remember them. They was doing the mosh pits. People.
I remember them
and all that stuff. This is normal. This is normal at concerts when you have a lot of Caucasians and Hispanics and Asians. They go buck wild. It's like they inhibition. Like, we can be free now. We don't have to put up the pretense anymore. And what happened is they got out of control, and they didn't give a damn that they were stuck. I know they looked down and they were stumping on somebody. They just pushed somebody out of the way. Looking at the video, they ran past the metal detectors. They said, "F this, we're going into the venue," and then the media was there. So they had plenty of time to stop this. And the thing is, the mayor's not responsible. It's the fire department, the police chief, the people over the venue. They the ones supposed to say, okay, how many tickets did we put out? And the moment it got out of hand, when they stormed that gate, they should say, okay, shut it down. We're not doing this till we get this stuff in order. Because now you're setting up yourself to get sued. So, I mean, it's a lot of blame to go around, but to put it on one brother, and then Drake was there, and nobody's mentioning Drake hardly, so you already know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, more on this to follow, but Travis is nice knowing it, I guess, but shit, bro. He better lawyer up.
Yes, I would.
Got a lawyer up on this one. And, interesting, you said that I would think it was Darius that said, go get your bag, Gavin. I'm actually going to be, I'm looking into swearing into the Texas bar. So, shit, I'm coming at the right time. Oh, yeah. I'm coming in at the right time, baby. It's called reciprocity. You don't have to, if you're an attorney for 6 or 7 years, depending on the state. Some states honor it. You can waive in, but you just got to pay a damn good fee for it. But, man, that's cha-ching. Go get it. Cha-ching. Yeah,
that paper.
Exactly.
Right now, I'm not making it rain. I'm making it hail. So, yeah, Texas is a bigger market. I was looking at Illinois, too, Harvey, at one point.
Oh, man, you have a field day up here, man. There's much crap going on in Illinois. It's either the politicians, the police officer, or the teachers that get you.
Yeah. Welcome to Chicago.
I'm talking about cha-ching, man.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to the Chicago, the place with the Bears, and you can sue everybody.
No, I'm doing Sean Connery and the Untouchables.
Oh, the Chicago way.
No, welcome to Chicago.
Nice to take a gun.
This place stinks like a hooker at low tide.
Oh man, you're gonna make me go watch the Untouchables tonight.
Oh man, I'm not mush mouth. Oh man,
I stuck him like an Irish pig.
Oh, I like him. Yeah, I like him too. When Kevin Costner made good movies.
Yeah.
If you watch Yellowstone, that's a good program.
I haven't watched it, but I heard some good things about it. You know, they've been hyping it up on Paramount. I don't have Paramount Plus. I don't want no more streaming.
Yeah, those streaming things, and eventually, yeah, you'll get 7 days free. But if you forget, they start
You're
charging.
forgetting they got you.
Yeah, because like I got Paramount Plus and Peacock now, and I got an Apple. It's Amazon Plus.
Let me tell you, Netflix, Disney, what else? I got Hulu, and I had got Hulu before I got everything else. When Hulu used to be free, people forget Hulu used to be free. Yeah. And because I got Amazon, the Amazon Prime, that's included. So, but the thing is, with Peacock, they got a thing called Premiere. Yeah, you're getting some TV shows, some old shows, but you want to watch the new stuff, you got to pay. Yeah, and people don't realize that they like, ooh, I got the streaming service. You know, after a while, everybody goes streaming. The local network's going to shut down, and you're going to pay for watch the television shows.
Right.
So I won't be cheering that too much.
Well, you know, I may consider I had gotten YouTube TV at one, and what happened was my cable company for my cable box was not working, and you know that I couldn't get the cable company up. Cox Cable, I'm gonna name them Cox Cable. They suck. I couldn't get them out here for a whole week. They could not come out here, and I would go to the store to go trade my box, and me and my father to go trade in, and the boxes weren't working. And I'm hearing, and I believe this, that's a scam that they run where they want you to come in and bring someone, have them come to your house. And it took them that long claiming about Hurricane Ida and so forth. But, you know, they've been so ridiculous with their stream. You know, there was a point when my TV couldn't even work, where it was stuck on the same channel. And on top of that, when I asked them for a refund, because I was without cable for a week and a half, you guys wouldn't let me. I couldn't watch my program. They wouldn't even give me my money back. They wouldn't give a credit.
These companies they're quick to take your money, but never quick to give it back.
They don't give you credit. So fuck
We'll
them.
give you credit.
I might just start. It might be better to just start streaming stuff. I told my parents, get a smart TV. And if you want to.
But you know what? I'm call me old school. I'd rather go get my DVD with the special features. I can watch anytime. You're behind the scenes, because when you go on these streaming services, and people got to understand, if you try to save that stuff, it degrades after a while. You spend all that money for something that's not going to be around. And then I have DirecTV, and it seems like me every 2 or 3 years the damn box goes out, and I have all that saved material. I mean, that's just a waste of time, you know. So give me the good old Blu-ray 4K, and I'm cool. But maybe I'm just stuck in my way.
Yeah, I think you're stuck, Carl.
Like the comics. I like going to touch my comics. I like to hold them in my hand. I don't like that digital stuff. Because you always got to replace digital stuff.
Yeah, because the mediums are always changing.
Exactly.
The mediums are always changing, but I mean, that's true too. But you know, like your phones and so forth, like you keep upgrading to the phone, but the only thing changing is one phone got 3 camera lenses, the other one had 1.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, now if your phone is broken or work, yeah, you could change it, or if you could get one.
Look, I still got the Samsung Galaxy 9, man. That shit, excuse me, that crap cost me too much money, and I'm not going to pay another $600 for a phone. Nah, they crazy. Just to say I got a camera on it, I still got the old school cameras. Let me go download the pictures and use them until I can't use those cameras anymore.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. Well, our final topic, I know Sean's got to run because our brother is a working man. This needs no commentary. Just this picture.
Oh
says
my
enough.
God.
This is
good gravy. Not again.
Now look, this is the same Kid Cudi that were calling out people that was praising Bill Cosby's wrongful conviction being overturned, cursing him out. And this nigga's in a full-on fucking dress. Excuse me, Harvey. I know you don't like that, but it is what it is.
No. You're a grown man. You can speak what you speak.
No, I know you just don't like hearing the word, but some of our bishop, if Bishop Scott is listening, but I say what I want, but I'm trying to be mindful. I'm being respectful, but
You're
sorry.
exacerbated. I know.
I'm sorry, but this nigga's crazy. I'm like Richard Pryor would say, something's wrong with this man.
He's Arkham certified.
And you notice he got a white man next to him. I mean, this ain't telling.
Like I'm a bitch.
Oh yeah.
This is shades of Ricky Williams and Mike Ditka. If you remember, see, I'm from New Orleans. When Mike Ditka became the coach of the Saints, Master P was actually Ricky Williams' agent, and they had Ricky on the cover of some magazine where he was in a full-on wedding dress with Mike Ditka. There's no way I would have done that. Right?
We were warned 50-something years ago. Malcolm X, Dr. Francis Cresswell, Dr. Cresswell, I can never say her name right. Francis Cresswell, Nellie Fuller, they predicted in 50-something years, black men would be so completely emasculated, we would be wearing dresses and makeup. Jesus Christ.
I didn't understand. Now, I was about 13 when this happened, so I didn't understand it at that time.
And with Mike Ditka of all people, I remember this. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my God!"
And then Mike Ditka came out with the dreads, and Ditka got fired that same year because the Saints went 3-13. I remember that. But
if people know Mike Ditka history and how racist and nasty he is,
he shut out Sweetness in the Super Bowl. Sweetness didn't even get a touchdown.
I remember that. 1985.
And Ditka, that was in 80. Well,
85.
That was the 85 Bears, but the Super Bowl was in 86. That year, like the week before I was born.
Yeah.
February 7th. Yeah.
Go ahead and make me feel old, Gavin.
I actually watched that game as a kid.
So me and you both, we remember very well where we was at.
Right. That was when they had the refrigerator and Jim McMahon.
Yeah, they had Fridge Perry. They had Walter Payton.
Mike Singletary.
Yep.
McMichaels.
Mongo. Yeah, Mongo. Yeah, he has multiple. He has
ALS.
Yeah. I met him years ago when they was giving my Purple Heart at the Sears Center in what was that? Hoffman Estates. He, hey, little guy, congratulations. And then now to see him like it, it's really sad. It really is sad.
Yeah. Well, I know Mongo from WCW when he was a Four Horsemen.
That's why you see Ric Flair always around now with him now.
Yeah, but this bullshit. God.
First of all, he's too old for this shit. He's pandering, number one, unless this is how he really felt. And now that everybody's doing this dress thing, I mean,
and he's got a. What is he gonna say to his kid? He's got a daughter, right?
He can't.
Yeah, he's got a daughter, but how are you gonna look your kids in the face after doing this stuff?
You can't look at them because he's embarrassed himself. I mean,
and he's wearing makeup. Yeah, he's wearing mascara, and he's got He's got a black Jesus necklace on. This is why you don't worship celebrities.
But yet everybody talks about Kanye West. You know what I mean? Look, I don't understand you try to stay relevant, but it's one thing being doing shock stuff, but it's one thing pandering. Now, if you're gay, okay, that's your business. But besides the dress, he's standing next to a white dude. I don't think he understands the racial inference, the ramifications of that stuff. You know what I mean? Because they've always wanted to emasculate us. They always want us in the dress. When they hung our brothers and sisters from trees, the first they went for was our manhood, our memory. And for him standing like Billy Porter next to a white, oh no, man. Oh God, man. What's wrong with our people?
Stripped him of his manhood and made it where he looks like the woman in the whole thing. I mean, that's embarrassing.
Disgrace. Let me say this too, because we talked about TV and this agenda, and I got to be careful with my words, or else I'll get suspended. They called it the boldest look at the CFDA awards. I've never even heard of CFDA. I don't know what it is. It's a fashion. Okay, so it's a fashion show.
Why is it always bold with black when they put a black man in a dress? Why can't they just be bold with some innovative fashion? I mean, that's my critical question. I mean, every time they take a black man and put him in a dress, it's like they never have no white guys like this. They never have no Asian guys like this or Hispanic guys like this. It's always a black man.
If they do it, they're not going to be caught on camera or video doing it. And see, I really do. I don't want to put it on a single parent household. That's not fair, because you got people that come from 2-parent households still act out like that. A lot of this, I think people think it's cool, it's hip, or this is who they truly been. And now they feel that they can get away with it, because now the last month or so, you can't say nothing about anybody who gets caught dressed like that. You know what I mean? Oh, if you do it, you're homophobic, you're transphobic, and all. It's not that. That's just not the norm. I don't care how much you say it is. That is not normal. It is not normal for guys to be walking around with pink on, with nail polish, with a bunch of mascara on. That's usually geared to the opposite sex. And then they talk about you at birth, you shouldn't be called a male or female. Wow. I mean, they really pushing this agenda. But we were warned and we didn't listen.
We definitely were warned, and I saw it practically in 2010. I saw it really, but when I was a kid, I was seeing these guys in dresses. I was like, "There's a pattern here to this."
Yeah, and my thing is, and when people talk about stuff like they always try to make it like we the ones that had an issue. This has always been an issue in the community. It's just usually people they was respectful about it. They didn't go flaunt it or make you have to accept it. And my thing is, Kid Cudi, all these years, now all of a sudden, he's talking all this crap about the black community not accepting and everything, and Lil Nas X over there messing with Lil Boozy and all that stuff. I'm like, y'all doing too much. And this is why I can't defend him on everything. I mean, like I said, to each your own. You want to do that? You want to be that way? That's your business. Yeah. It has nothing to do with me. It's when you go out and do it in the public setting, you're confusing these kids. Because when we were kids, we was able to watch cartoons, go outside and play. That wasn't taught. We didn't have to worry about that until we got in our teen years. You got 5-year-olds being bombarded with this shit now. And then when they get 10 and 11, they hate their maleness. Right. Oh, I don't want to be a man. I want to be like that. And they're confused.
Right. It's just like I'm seeing even in Scotland, they had a promote equality day. They had the boys and girls wear skirts. So it's just like they're forcing it on everyone's agenda. The TV shows you have, even in cartoons, that's in it. Do y'all watch, Harvey, I don't know if it's, but do you watch the Chucky program? I've heard of it.
I've heard, I've never gotten the chance to watch it. Everybody said it's good and everything.
It is good, but it's got that in it.
I was reading somewhere they talking about what's her name, Meg Tilly or something.
Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah, Jennifer Tilly. Excuse me, I always get the big sisters mixed up. They were mentioning about something. I glanced at it.
Right. Well, what she was talking about, how was the studio when they did Seed of Chucky. I just read the headline, but they thought it was too gay. And I did a video. I'm not going to share it again because they put a copyright strike on me. Where Dan Aykroyd, who was doing a movie called Behind the Candelabra, which was about Liberace and his teenage lover, or his young adult lover, I should say.
Plastic surgery to look like me, I remember.
Right, and they did that movie. The studios did not want to back it because they thought it was too gay. They knew people wouldn't go and watch it, and that's what she was saying about Chucky. The creator of Chucky, Don Mancini, is homosexual. He's gay. And Kevin Williamson, he's the creator of Scream and I Know What You Did Last
Dawson Creek and all that.
Yeah, and Clive Barker, who did Hellraiser and Candyman, he wrote those stories. They are like one of the few gay I don't think they're the few, but they're the main. They're about only known gay screenwriters and creators in the horror genre.
Well, Clive Barker, I always knew that since I was a little kid. I don't think he ever hid his sexuality.
No, he didn't. Mancini, coming out like they couldn't do what they're doing 30 years ago. They couldn't have a show like that. They got it on USA, but the character who is inspired by Don Mancini, this boy, his name is Jake Wheeler. He's gay. He's a teenager, and his crush is another black teenager, young black teenager. And I watched the episode this past Tuesday, and they shared their first kiss.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Now looking the first Chucky, if you go back and look at it now, it makes sense that he killed the first person he killed in the movie was a female. He threw it out the window. Yeah.
Right. Well, they got the daughter even playing. He mentioned something because they were doing a behind the scenes about this episode. The Brad Dourif's daughter, Fiona, who looks just like him, is playing. Not only is she starring as another character, but they had her play her father in drag. She basically had his makeup and stuff on and everything.
A flashback?
In a flashback, yeah.
Oh my God.
And the creator of the Chucky series even said, she looks like we have Fiona playing a cisgender individual. I'm like, why you just can't say straight? Where's the cisgender? Or they call it. It's like what they did when they had Milk Yogurt on Malik Yoba, excuse me, on the Breakfast Club, and they tried to correct his vocabulary. The only person that was a female on that panel was Angela Yee.
Yeah.
And it was shaming straight people. And Charlemagne didn't check them. DJ Envy didn't check them. Angela didn't check them. Nobody checked them. They had all of them, and it got so many dislikes. That's why I don't. Darius, Malik Yobutt. Bro, hey, we finally know what was undercover in New York, huh?
But you know what? Last week,
Wait, Harvey, Sean, y'all remember that interview when he was going up against that guy from the Root? It looks bad for you, dog.
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with you? We sat for 4 hours.
Look at Darius McCray. McCrary. I believe Darius McCrary.
Yeah.
Sydney Star. And then last week I watched a video where you had another transgender person, a black person, was saying that they want straight black men to stand up and make it acceptable. They're mad at us because we won't go out there and you know how we influence everything on the planet. Basically, I can't remember how they said it, but basically they mad that we're not standing up for them.
Why should we stand up for them? I mean, a straight man is not going to stand up for something that he's not a part of.
Exactly. And my thing is that, look, and I'm going to say this right now. It's scary what surgery and meds can do, because I don't know if you heard about General Hospital. The guy just got fired to play Jasper Jacks for like 20-some years. They said it was the mandate, but no, he said something about transgender. And the person is on it. If you never heard the voice, you think that was a straight up female. And it's scary how they look like that. Sydney Star, I kid you not, until my cousin, an ex-husband, said that was a dude, I thought that was a female. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get a new prescription or something. Because this is, I mean, it just, look, I'm like this, if that's what you want to do, you're fine. But be upfront with people. Don't play with people like that.
Don't jerk people around.
Yeah. No. But they got to jerk people around because they know straight men like us ain't going to fuck with it.
Yeah, because I don't care what you say. You can go get all the surgery you want. You still born a male. Okay. Yep. And I'm not into dudes.
Y'all remember this classic scene from the movie Woo? Hold on. The classic Woo. Remember this scene. Hold on. Fair use. Being used for humor.
92 Pathfinder, right? Question slipping. So
I likely won't get a copyright strike since the movie was that bad.
Yeah. Give me a call at the shop sometime.
I'm running things. I'm running things. Yo, this is the spot. I'm here every week. Every week. I gotta get on up in here, yo. I had a ball. Oh, man, I think we had 2 balls. We had so many balls. You could have played some pool up in this piece. Oh. Wait, oh, y'all play pool again? I can't beat him. Boy, leave him alone. Hey, y'all check out Phil? That's Philip. You didn't see the crying game? You didn't put the neck? You didn't put the neck, fool. You want to put them hickeys on it. I've been sucking on it all night.
Ah. They were all men. Yo, it's time to go. Don't call me no more.
You need to win the crying game.
And you know what? The sad part, they couldn't get away with a movie like this today. They'd say it's hate speech.
Fair use.
All right,
You know what?
The only good thing about the movie, Woo. Yeah.
You know, it's another movie. Maybe you guys might remember. Gavin, you don't. It's called Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks and Lake Tony Katane. Where this is a thing. I think it was a black guy or was it a white guy? It was a white. I can't remember now because there's so many movies that did that. And the guy realized it was a female. He's in the bathroom scrubbing, screaming like, "Oh God!" I don't know if you have to see it if you can find it. But it's. I mean, today that would be hate speech now because they were like, "You're hating them because they're different." Nah, because they're guys. That's just oh my God, that's ugh.
So yeah, someone said, "Who's the new Hellraiser?" I thought the new Hellraiser didn't make it a woman. The new Pinhead.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless something changed. So.
But Gary James says, yeah, he's the Australian white guy. His last days are in a few. I don't know. Gary, what do you mean? Or who you talking about? But yeah, man. But man, Kid Cudi, I'm glad I don't listen to his shit. I don't listen to his. Especially after that remark he made, about Cosby and so forth. And people.
But isn't it the same Kid Cudi that got with Amanda Bynes? And she supposedly was bragging about how great a love he was. And when people gave her the business, that's when she had a nervous breakdown. So I think he's pandering, but he doing it in such a way that is really making black men look bad,
Wait, he was dating Amanda Bynes?
Yeah, back in the day when him and Amanda Bynes, I guess she did that. What's that movie she did with John Travolta? And I can't remember. It was with Harvey Firestein, what his name is. But anyways, what happened?
The Man or something like that. I remember.
No, it was movie when John Travolta was playing like he was a woman, where Christopher Walken was playing her father. I can't remember the name of the movie, but anyways, she did a love scene with the brother. I think that's what piqued their interest, and all of a sudden she hung with Kid Cudi. And
Hairspray.
Hairspray, yeah. And they went on a date, and I guess he laid the pipe on her. And she was online, it's like, oh my gosh, have you ever had chocolate and blah, blah. And she was playing all these innuendos. And she came out like, I've never been with a black man before, but blah, blah, blah. And when everybody found out, they gave her the business. And about 2 months later, that's when she had a nervous breakdown and been right since. They chased out of Hollywood because she was bragging about being with Kid Cudi.
Yeah, interesting about Amanda Bynes, she was a comedian. She went to camp and learned under Arsenio Hall, met Richard Pryor, because the Laugh Factory used to do camps for kids and stuff like that. And I think that's how she got on all that. But yeah, you're right, Harvey. That's her. She said he's not ugly, he's gorgeous, and we dated.
I remember that. I remember that because she's a Jewish woman, or at least identifies a Jewish person. And what happened was she was talking about at that time it was on MySpace, and when Facebook started, had just started, and she was like talking about, oh my gosh, black men are so beautiful, and a lot of Jewish people in them came at her ass. And I think that's one of the reasons why she had a break. Now that's why she ain't been in the acting world since. And I know what Gary James is talking about. Bachelor Party. We know he's talking about. Yeah, I get what he was talking about. It was a white guy. Whatnot. I got what he
looks like a methed out Rapunzel in this picture, man.
Yeah, she ain't been right since. I mean, she's not acting. She looks bad, but she just got married.
The guy from General Hospital.
The guy who's Ringermarker, who played Jasper Jacks, he had said something about he don't believe in getting shots. Number one, he had got COVID or something, and the guy that plays Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, he also got it. But the thing is, he's very political. He leans to the right. He's more of a Trumper than anything. And the other day they was talking about somebody's the Biden administration, the first transgender, and he said, "Oh, that's a dude or something." And Nancy Lee Graham, who plays on there, and the transgender person that plays on there took offense to it, and they went to the higher up at Disney, and people in Disney don't want to get no controversies about that, so they gave him the boot.
Yeah, well, Disney is doing that now. I mean, Disney owns ESPN. They forced all of their employees and stuff. They got to get the injectable. Doing it even with old girl, I think, who was supposed to play Black Panther.
Yes, sir. They say she got hurt the other day. From what I read, they got it out where at the end of the movie, because in the movie she's supposed to be the Black Panther because they followed the comic book, which they really didn't want to do that soon. But Chadwick Boseman definitely they had to go a different direction.
I'm hearing they want Winston Duke.
Yeah, or they trying to find a way to. From what I understand, you're trying to get an unknown, do like a Christopher Reeve type thing, or trying to find a way to bring Michael B. Jordan back. But he's doing that new Superman movie for HBO Max. I think he's gonna be busy for a minute, and whatnot. And then it just the thing is that her politics had gotten away, and they said they got it. They wrote it out for that at the end of the movie. She may not survive, or somebody else take the mantle of the Black Panther. They just shut down production. They were close to finishing shooting the movie.
Yeah. I'm hearing Winston Duke, who played the Black Panther's ally. They want him to be the next Black Panther, possibly. He played in that what other movies he did? He did Us, and he also was in the movie what's based Spencer
Jordan Peele, that horror movie.
Spencer and Hawk. Yeah, he was in that too, but he played Hawk. Right.
Oh yeah. Update. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Right.
The thing is, well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, finish your point, Harvey.
They got a lot of untapped talent, but my thing is these people should understand. Black folks should understand. They will replace you with the quickness. I mean, look at Terrence Howard. He the one that got Robert Downey Jr. the job for Iron Man. And when they paid enough money, the studio said, you got to take a pay cut. And when he thought Robert Downey Jr. was going to come in this defense, Robert Downey said, hey, ain't got nothing to do with me. And look at Terrence Howard since.
What's going on here, man?
Man, they can get rid of the whole Eric. They can get rid of the guy that played the hook. Yeah, man. So
Candy Man. He can't say man fully. He got to say Candy Man. Wait, that's 4 times. I'm gonna stop.
And I tell you right now, these superhero movies. I mean, maybe I'm just a purist, but it's gonna come a time where people get tired of going to see these movies because I think the Eternals made some money. I don't think anybody really hyped that movie up like they normally do. Maybe it's the pandemic. I don't know.
A lot of them have been losing steam ever since Endgame, and like Shang-Chi opened strong, but it's like they're open low. Same thing with Black Widow. It opened strong, but it opened low, and Eternals opened fairly strong, but it underperformed. So what's happening is we're starting to see a decline with these superhero movies because there's just so many of them. And it's like the horror movies in the 80s. There's so many of them that people are just starting to take them for granted. And that's what I'm seeing happening with the superhero movie. And I really think they need to dial it back a bit and temper the type of films that they put out there because they're putting out too many, as I see it. They're saturating the market.
Yeah, I didn't see Eternals because they had that in there. I know what you're talking about.
That's one of the reasons why I wasn't running to go see it. Then it happened to be a brother that they did it to.
Right. Well, they announced
it's an agenda. It's an agenda.
And I heard it had nothing to do with the story. It was like something they put in at the last minute.
Well, look what they did on Arrow with Mr. Terrific. Heterosexual. He's supposed to be on equal, if not better than Batman. And basically, in the Arrow show, he basically played the sidekick. He would make jokes, and then he was just there just to be there. Everybody else, they was tough and rough. Get to the brother, he was goofy as hell. And then on the Flash, they got the black guy who plays Cisco. He's another goofy character. And the sad part is, there's a black executive producer of the Flash now. But I guess they try to make it up with that new Armageddon storyline where they brought the Black Lightning in. You just cancel the show, but you're going to bring it. No, never mind. I ain't going to go there. It only get me started with Supergirl. You got rid of James Olsen character and created his sister and made her gay immediately, and then she got married to. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, remember, even in Black Lightning's daughter, who was gorgeous, by the way. Good looking girl.
God, yeah, she's fine, man.
She was fine, but she wasn't looking for no man.
And the thing is, when they did the New 52, they rewrote it because they were supposed to be little girls, teenagers at the most. When they did the New 52, they aged up and they made her gay, and then they made John Henry steal his niece gay. And now we see what they did with Robin, and basically everybody like we should have seen Robin. It's sort of like that joke been going around for years, but it wasn't Dick Grayson and it wasn't Batman Actual Blood son. It was Tim Drake, and then they made Jonathan Kent get bisexual. I'm like, it's an agenda. I mean, they had gay comic book, and I know we talked about this before. They always have gay comic book characters, but it seems like they just it's pushing it in your face. And I think that's my problem. I don't mind seeing gay characters because you do have gay comic book fans and whatnot, but it's too much. They throw it in there just to be throwing it in there. Because like every Greg Berlanti show got to have some type of gay character. Because on Legends of Tomorrow, she started out as was supposed to actually been Black Canary, and then they wrote the other sister, and then she died, and they brought her back. Now she's the leader, and she's gay. I mean, it's too much.
It's pushing it too much. It's like in every show or every comic, and it just becomes too much. It's like.
And then you got every primetime show, they got the black guy who's gay. He's just not gay. He's super gay. A walking stereotype of gayness. And I've had people come on my channel who was gay. At least they say they were gay. And they said they was offended by it. They said, we don't act that way. You know, we don't do that. And I just think it's an agenda to go out and emasculate black men. And then if you see these commercials now, like with the Gap and all that, you know, and that was what's the commercial where they talk about the people with HIV? They show the gay black men. I'm like, if you're gonna show gay people, why don't you show some white dudes? Show some Asians, show some Hispanics. Then I'll be cool about it, because then you got some balance. But it's an agenda to emasculate us, and this is something that we need to talk about. And thank God Dave Chappelle said something, because they was using Dave Chappelle saying, well, he's a bully and everything. I'm like, obviously you guys didn't watch his special. I'm not even a Dave Chappelle fan like that, but maybe I said too much.
Yeah, he spoke up on it. He spoke up on paying a price, but you know what he said too was that it's these corporations that are really just pushing, and a lot of the Fortune 500 corporations are tied with that agenda, and you know, they're pushing it. Disney is no exception. They're the biggest ones. They're the main ones.
Well,
right?
A lot of these people are you got a lot of homosexuals running these corporations now. And you got, and if they're not, and I'm not, this is not anti-Semitism. Is either they're Jewish or they claim to be Jewish or they're the gay community, and they push an agenda.
Well, yeah. Well, remember back in 2015 after the Obergefell decision, which legalized same-sex marriage, GLAAD put out an article or sent press releases all out to the studios in major Hollywoods talking about how they wanted to see an even bigger increase in LGBTQ characters by at least 1,000% or something along those lines. So if that doesn't tell you, and YouTube can block it, but hey, they said that in a release themselves they wanted to see more of this. That sounds like an agenda to me. So
it's been an agenda ever since, I say, the late 80s, early 90s. I remember back when I was watching shows like Ellen and Drew Carey, and I saw it being pushed. I mean, I remember watching Drew Carey's show, and it's practically on every episode.
Yeah, if you go back to, there was a book called After the Ball, which was written by two gay men who actually were advertising execs. They came from Harvard. They mastered and showed how homosexuals can show themselves as victims in television and media, try to make themselves sympathetic, portray Christians in a negative light. Because if you notice now, even in the movies, I remember in the 80s and in the 90s, some of the horror movies, it was always a pastor saying some crazy stuff. That was in a villainous persona. Even today, remember the movie Jumper that they had, where Samuel Jackson is hunting. So Mace Windu is hunting Darth Vader, and and he's saying all of these, words like "you're an abomination," "only God should have this power," and all this stuff. That's the type of things we have in Hollywood today. So,
I can tell you, Sean, if you go all the way back to the Revenge of the Nerds, where you had all the characters are gay, but you get the black guy. The only way you can explain the black guy being smart is that he's
Lamar.
gay.
Yeah, I remember that movie. That movie.
And then you had Mannequin with the late Meshack Taylor, where he was the friend of Andrew McCartney's character, Hollywood, and he was gay, and he wasn't just gay; he was super gay, exaggerated gay. And then in various TV shows over the years, where they came out and said anything explicitly, it was always the black dude, and they found some way to always put the brother in the dress. And it's lately they have been starting to make black women look bad as gay. They're either super butch or they don't know how to take no for an answer. Because I like the show Shameless, but if you ever go watch Shameless, they make the black gay characters look really bad in the show.
Have y'all seen these studs with beards in Houston?
Oh my God, I saw that the other day. I thought that was a joke. If that's a new trend, I knew once they start putting glue on hair for brothers that would be the next thing.
That was some disturbing stuff when I saw it.
Come out looking like James Harden. Look at that. It would fool you because the lining is tight.
That's the point I've been saying. I thought if you never said that was a girl, you thought that was a dude. This is too, oh my God. It's something happened to our people in the last 30 years. I don't care what anybody say.
Man.
They on some Sodom and Gomorrah stuff.
And you know what? I would love to get with somebody and just do a documentary about this stuff, because I really think that they're aiming this at our children. Let kids be kids. Kids don't understand their sexuality at the age of 5 or 6. You know what I mean? Barely in your teens, you're going through your hormone stuff. Now this stuff is being pushed every day in the media. And if you don't say you agree with it, they call you a homophobic, transphobe, sexist. That's not it. I don't care what you do in the bedroom. You're an adult. You do what you do. But when I turn on the TV, I want to laugh. I want to see action. I want to see action. I don't need them every show telling me you must accept this or this is the norm of the world. Because most gay people don't want to be known for their sexuality.
Now, these do, apparently. They're doing a bad time convincing us otherwise because they keep pushing it over and over again. Like I watched the Chucky episode and I saw the black kid. Now they got the black kid making the moves on the other kid, and they were holding hands at the meeting at the school. I'm like, oh God.
Well, they had some other show they did there with a black boy where he's in a relationship with the elite star or something. There's a lot of those shows out. And that's why I didn't pay attention to Chucky, because I was like, if I saw it, I think I would have turned it away, because my thing, Chucky's supposed to be horror. I don't want to see no romance, but I don't want to see that. I don't.
Well, ever since I noticed, really since the 2013 film that he did, where they did Cult of, I think it was Curse of Chucky, I saw that there was a lesbian thing in it, where they were pushing between the sister and the babysitter, and then it was the mother and the woman was married, by the way, in the film, but she's having an affair with the babysitter. And then in the other sequel, the girl, when Fiona Dourif, who played Nika, gets possessed by Chucky, she gets freed to hang out, to go with Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly. And at the end of the film, they're kissing each other. Even in the series, they were making out with each other, having sex. So it's just like they really, really pushed this shit.
So Brad was cool with his daughter doing that.
I guess so, because I mean, she's an actress. He looks at his work. I guess. I mean,
Daddy, because Brad still does the voice for Chucky.
He still does the voice, but he's like 70. He's old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because last time I think he done anything acting wise was probably a Law and Order episode or a Star Trek Voyager. I can't know, that was back in the 90s. He did Star Trek Voyager, killed his character off. So I think it was a Law and Order last time I saw him on something, really,
Yeah.
But it is was it Deidre Deandre? Well, I'm sorry, I'm not good with names.
Oh, DeAndre Mosley.
DeAndre, okay. Cartoons today are saturated. Yeah, they are. If you watch the Cartoon Network, even what's that Avatar? What's that Avatar? What was that Asian cartoon? They got great animation. At the end of the series, the characters, it was lesbian. And they talking about Xena. I don't know if y'all remember Xena, Warrior Princess. We always knew it was a gay subsect between her and Gabrielle. They talking about a reboot, and they said if they do it, that would be the main focus of it. And I think Sam Raimi didn't want to go there. He was back in the 90s. How can I say this? When we're young,
I remember Xena having an affair with Hercules.
Yeah, but as the show went on, it became more of a
around season 5, season 6. That's when they started moving towards Xena and Gabrielle's lesbian relationship.
I didn't really watch.
That's when I walked away.
Really watch it. I didn't really watch it like talking about it.
Oh, trust me.
I watched it all the way through.
I watched it. I had a thing for the both of them. When they split to that direction, sort of ruined it for me.
And that's when the ratings dropped on the show. It's like,
I mean, even in Ash versus Evil Dead, the TV series, I remember when Lucy Lawless played a character, Ruby, and the black woman that was on the show the first season, she was in Girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of her name, but beautiful sister, but she played Ash's love interest, but even at some point where she's hanging out with Ruby, she was her. You could hint there was some type of lesbian type. She was trying to recruit her to be with her, because there was a scene where, you can join me and all of this stuff. We could be together forever. So I knew what they were going with it because I caught it. But when they start pushing more of this stuff, like Shawn was saying, the ratings are going to drop. So
they did that on ER. Remember, I don't know if you ever watched Smallville. What was that? Sam Jones III played Pete Ross on the show. When he left Smallville, he went over to do ER, and they made his character gay.
Yeah,
I never forget that episode. What's his name? The one he played in Soul Food. I forget his name.
Michael Beach.
No, not the other one that played the younger sister husband. The one always
Mekhi Phifer.
Yeah, Mekhi Phifer. Yeah, they was playing brothers, and he walked in on them in the bathroom. That threw me for a loop, because I'm like, dude left Smallville, but he went over. I guess I'm going to ER, And I knew right then they was pushing the agenda. I said, but it's always the black dudes.
Yeah,
I'm like, and I mean, don't, like I said before, to each his own. This is a different world, a different world, yeah, but it's a different world, and I don't have a problem with people getting married, living their lives, but it seems like you're pushing on the black community the heaviest, but yet you still attack the black community at the same time.
Yeah, guys, this has been a great conversation. Yeah, they still do that shit, and we just gotta be mindful of this stuff, man. The propaganda is real everywhere. That's why we got to create our own stream, our own networks, our own community, our own film production company. Because it's like what people are complaining about the Disney holiday cartoon that came out, The Stepdad, and I know Shawn is going to be doing a video about it.
Video is going to be premiering in about 5 minutes. So
right, and I know you got to run, Shawn, and you stayed with us, but I just want to say that's why it's important. And O'Shea Duke Jackson mentioned this. You know, if you don't control your image and you're not doing anything about it, be quiet. And what he meant by that is that if you basically don't have any control over your own images because we don't own anything, and we see companies like Disney or ABC or whoever, NBC, whatever, doing this stuff, we gotta get something of our own. And that's the basic way how you can control, or if you can't control, at least you can control it from your perspective and combat some of this negative propaganda that we got going on here.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm doing with the SJS Direct Imprint right now. And that's why I'm doing projects like the John Haynes comic book and trying to do other projects, because I know how important image is. And when you have all these media out here giving kids negative images, you have to create positive ones, because that's the only way we're going to get them is if we create them ourselves.
Right. And speaking of creating images and messages, I want to share this with everybody. Tomorrow, tune into the Judge Joe Brown show, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I call into the judge's show all the time. I've always been on the panel, but tomorrow I will be a guest because we are promoting, ladies and gentlemen, our book. Of course, you all know what the book is, and I've been talking about it. We are promoting. Let's see if I can get. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the flyer up. Damn it! But we are promoting my book, my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. So that's actually coming out. This, I don't have an exact date, but we got it coming out real soon. Why is this not? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can share it. You know, and this, okay, so this doesn't do me any good favors, but let me see if y'all can see this. Hold on. Can y'all see that?
No, I don't see anything yet.
All right. I knew this was going to happen. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to share the flyer, but tune into the Judge Joe Brown show tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central. I'll be promoting my book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. That will actually be, I'm still working with legal on it, but I'll just do this better. How about this? This is the trailer for the book. I forgot to share it earlier and promote it, but I'll go ahead and play it right quick, and then we'll wrap up and have, I'll have the guys give their Cash App and where you can find them. So, hi, I'm attorney Gavin Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Yellow, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format. Y'all know Judge has gone hard on this thing too. So hold on, let me take this down, the banner down, because y'all need to see the phone number right there. 929-477-1167. Harvey, Shawn, if y'all can call in, it would be great to have y'all come on. Shawn's been a guest on the show before, but I remember when Judge, and I know we got to run because Shawn's got to get to bed. But I just got to say, y'all know Judge went hard on Moise Lamont Hill. Remember that, Harvey?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shawn, yeah. You got to have evidence, you little punk. You just a pissant termite who don't know law. I knew the judiciary before you were even born, you little pissant. Bill Cosby, what about these women? They were groupies. They sucked and ducked and dried, laid it to the side, getting on top your couch and on your on your coats. They were doing things as well as doing for show. Come on now. But judge, but judge, it's assault, but judge. Yeah. All right. So I want you guys to be there tomorrow if you can. But shout out your Cash Apps for everybody and where they can find you. And Shawn, plug in your book. Plug in something if you got it.
All right. Well, the fall SJS Direct books are Stop Simping in Cyberspace, the latest book in the Simp series, and E-Steam Cancelication. And both of these books are available on Amazon.com right now in paperback. And Stop Simping in Cyberspace is available on Kindle right now. And E-Steam Cancelication will be available on Kindle next week. So put in your pre-orders for Cancelication. I really want to get the sales up on this book. And you can pick up Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and digital format everywhere right now.
That's right. Now, Mr. Harvey Superboy, sir, I want you to please tell everybody what your YouTube channel is. Tell these termites what it is, son.
Your YouTube channel, Your World, Your View. Cash App is Cash App $ HL1974 $HL1974 at Your World, Your View.
But are you sure that's the right Cash App, Harvey? Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm never gonna live that down.
Are you sure? Yes, she's sure. Yes, she's sure. You incompetent little bastard. You. I'm so sick of this moistness. This is an agenda on society. Charles Barkley, sit your dumb ass down. Well, personally, Judge, I don't care what you think about me, because personally, I got like millions of dollars just from being on TNT saying bullshit and talking nothing. And that ain't terrible, terrible, terrible. Yeah, Charles Barkley, your crazy ass. You sit your ass down. This Steve Harvey of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. And I say, survey said, oh yeah, Gavin Richard book gonna be good. Yeah, that boy gonna make him some money, yeah.
I needed a laugh. Oh man.
Yeah, I know y'all gotta run. I know you gotta run, Shawn, because you got to get up. But I want to thank y'all and Shawn and Harvey for joining me. Happy Veterans Day again to you, Harvey.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, and all our brothers and sisters that serve, thank you all for your service. Now, of course, you guys know if you like to contribute, please donate to the Cash App, PayPal, and Google Pay at the bottom of the screen. You see that, hit that ticket if you like the show. Also, if you want to join the Patreon where you can see exclusive content, I'm going to be uploading some stuff too, some things about the book. Eventually, I'll try and do it over the weekend or between now and Monday, so it'll be up there, just why I wrote the book and also some content in it that you may not see on YouTube because I want y'all to buy the book. The other thing, too, if you want to advertise, you can hit me at this email. If you want to check out our seasoning company, I shared it earlier, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish. Finally, I also want to say, I am a songwriter. I like to compose music. If you guys would like to, I would appreciate if you could go ahead and go download Video Soul, which is on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, if you want to read that. And of course, as we have gotten on down, ladies and gentlemen, for 3 solid hours, it's time to get on up. The judge is going to do his dance in his robe, son, on this funky tune. This brings me back to 1975 when Earth, Wind, and Fire said, keep your head to the sky. Oh, yes, it's going to go down like 1970 at UCLA's campus where I was. So you all sit back, relax, listen to Gotta Get On Up, and download Mr. Richard's, or the Counselors, as I call him, his song, Gotta Get On Up. We're going to get out of here. Mr. Superboy and Mr. James, I appreciate y'all. Good night, termites. Especially you moist Lamont Shield mother.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. I hope you guys have a good night.
You too.
Come on, let's feel the groove, Mr. Richard. All right, Judge. Well, I don't mean groove like that, son. I meant groove dance. Yes, sir. Of course, we all knew that, Judge. We don't push agendas here, Miss. I know there's no agendas in this channel. He's going to kill me for saying that. Good night, everybody. Feel the groove, get on the floor. That's how judges say it.
Come on. Gotta dance to the beat. Because on the dance floor is where we'll leave it. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up
and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up. Get on up. That is correct. You termites. Now, I just want to say this. You all tune in tomorrow on the Judge Joe Brown Show, produced by Valerie Denise Jones, 929-477-1167. My good friend and counselor, Gavin Richard, will be promoting this book because you see, with Bill Cosby, you had to have evidence. You all go ahead and watch this. Listen to this. This is going to be good stuff here on YouTube. Forget Dane Calloway, that tobacco chewing son of a bitch. Y'all watch this stuff. Yeah. This is going to be great. This is better than that. I'd advise you don't come to my house, son. Oh, it's going to be a great one, Your Honor. I could tell you. I know for a fact. Brother Richard, even though he's not going to make a top 5, my fraternity, he wears the purple. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that purple. I'm putting up the hooks for that brother. Yeah. All right. Y'all tune in to the Judge Joe Brown Show. Don't forget it. Peace out. Who's for Chinese? I'm hungry. About some egg foo young. No. I don't want egg foo. That egg foo young, now that I think about it, makes me fart. All right. How about some shrimp fried rice? Well, wait, I could just go to make an omelet. He's going to kill me. Good night, everybody.